Hey guys, and welcome to Death Before Dishonour Season 7 Qualifier number 2, and my god, do we have a tough group of competitors today going head to head in these semi-finals. It's going to be wild. We're going to have two best of 3 semi-finals and then a best of 5 final, and as always, the winner of this event will book their place into the season's grand finals. Actually, I probably shouldn't say who won last time, just in case you haven't seen, but spoiler alert, cover your ears if you haven't. The winner of this one will be joining the mighty Ice Power in the season final, so it should be some good fun. Up first, we have Unreal Expectations, first time playing on stream as well. Had a really good tournament for him so far, and he's up against Leopard, and we know all about Leopard. He's made it to multiple semi-finals and finals before of DBD, a really top competitor all around. Should we start picking? Yeah, go for it. Stream has started. So there's the usual pick and ban system. The first best of 3 will be played on Troll Country, River Maxon and Schlosterhafen. And in the second semi-final, we have the Mighty Legion, a mighty competitor himself, already qualified. And then we're waiting on one last quarterfinals, which is Void Laws up against Noob for Life. Noob for Life, of course, is pretty famous on this channel by now as well. So I'm sure we have a lot of people rooting for him to get there as well. For Poland, hi man, how's it going? Hope you're all good. And yes, war it is. The war has begun. And I'm very excited. We have some really good players today, so I'll let them know all the maps in case they didn't read the Discord. So Troll Country, River Maxon, and Schloss. Oh god, I always butcher the spelling on this one. But they'll understand what I mean anyway. And let's have a quick look just to double check to see who is indeed picking and banning first. And it's Unreal Expectations to pick first. Looks like he's gone for it. So he's going for Bretonia, banning dwarfs and vampire counts. Now I'm a big fan here of that ban of the dwarfs. Now the vampire counts don't mind too much. From the force of Bretonia, you can kind of counteract them quite nicely with Fae, at least as far as the Mortis engine effects go. But it is a rather small map, so the counts will be able to close the distance quite quickly. But maybe he just doesn't like them in general. Now, there's a few things Leopard can do. I like Lizard Men here. The meta has shifted slightly, so that the Bretonia are a little bit more equal footing. You just basically go mass peasant archers, but it can still be pretty rough for them. Large dinosaurs bursting through that front line and getting onto those juicy innards of the peasant bowman gun line can work pretty well. Black Fawn the Mighty has arrived. How's it going, buddy? Hope you're all good today. Black Fawn is a long-time watcher and supporter of the channel. Super cool dude as well. Part of DBD. Plays a mean total Warhammer game as well. He's a real tough opponent. So it looks like Leopard is going Chaos. And it's a pretty small map, Troll Country. So going for a rush faction is always quite good. I'm assuming Unreal Expectations is going to have to go very heavy on the cavalry. And his micromanagement is going to have to be top-notch. Trying to cycle charge down the more elite in general. At least Chaos Infantry Force. So like last week. It looks like these guys have already played before then. Why do you think Grimgor is still not seen at all? Grimgor is far better than he used to be, but he suffers from Footlord syndrome, where, yeah, pretty much Palpatine 1, hello there, but then he's slow. He's just a slow kind of bobbles around the map a little bit. Excellent duelist. If he had a boar, for example, he'd be far more often picked to be like Wolfric on a horse, for example. But unfortunately, he can't. Yeah, he can kill a lot of people one-on-one. It's just your opponent's not going to give you the opportunity to fight him one-on-one. Even if they've got a Footlord, just avoid Grimgor. He has no way of really catching you. Yes, he has his debuff, so he can slow down if you come too close. But just ignore him, go nowhere near him, bog him down with infantry and break him at the end of the game is normally the best thing to do. But we did see a couple of tournaments ago, I don't know if it was in a clan war, but someone brought Grimgor and he was just holding back tide after tide of enemy. It was epic. I believe that was up against Norska. Chaos versus Bretonia Noise. Yeah, it's a good one to start out. Very excited. I'm interested to hear what you would do in this situation, Papa Palpatine, who is our like resident Chaos god of war. He's a rather scary Chaos player. Arguably, I'm trying to think if there's any more who can match him for Chaos at the moment. I think he may well be the best in the game for Chaos, so they are a relatively unpopular pick. On Troll Country 2 is even worse for Bretonia, for sure. Yeah, sad Grimgor noises. There's, unfortunately in lore, he didn't ever have a mount, but a mount would really make him a far more competitive pick. But at the moment as well, Greenskins have really good lords in general, so it's a little bit tricky to fit him in. Grom, for example, is very powerful. Looks like they're both ready. Good luck, have fun, lads. Let's wait for these guys to ready up then. Fun fact, in German, he is called Grimgork, not Grimgor. I mean, that kind of works as well with Gork and Mork. Unless the gods are called something different in German as well, I suppose. But here we go, guys. Our first game, traditionally on Troll Country, as always, as it does lead to a blood and thunder furious affair. Really aggressive map all round. Really favours those heavy rush factions. Now, you can sit back and shoot on it. There are hills dotted on both deployment zones, or like slight slopes more than hills, I should say, and a few trees for a little bit of sneakiness. I, for example, love hiding a slant in these woods because people don't expect it. It's just a little funny trick you can do. I'm surprised slants can hide in them, but I guess they are from Lustria, so it makes sense. So for the forces of Bretonia, looks like he's deployed them all at the back for now, so obviously this isn't going to be his formation, or at least I hope not. We have a ton of unwashed, filthy peasant mobs currently turning their backs on the enemy, saying you are not worthy, here to absorb up the enemy damage. Of course, not going to do much killing themselves, but they're here to support. In the secondary battle line, we have Foot Squires. What is this madness? And I can see the logic here. They're going to be a K up against Chaos Warriors and other units like that because of their anti-infantry armor piercing, and they should trade okay as well up against Marauders. We don't see them terribly often. Not normally that cost effective. One unit of Peasant Bowmen, just the one in the back, so not committing too much to the range, which I like on this map. Double Mounted Yeomen, double Question Knights on this left-hand side, and on the right-hand side we have the Companions. These guys arguably the best cavalry in the entire game currently. Anti-Large Question Knights is a scary force to be reckoned with, and more Mounted Yeomen as well. Really fun build. Leading the forces, of course, it is the Fey and Double Paladin, once again turning their back on the enemy. This is just the absolute meta. I would argue against Lizard Men, this isn't the meta actually. Against Lizard Men, you'd probably want to bring the King. But in most matchups, Fae or Paladin, they're just there to bodyguard. She comes with her Chalice, Favour of the Fae, Regrowth of Blood, Awakening of the Wood, all the standard stuff. Now for the forces of the Leopard here, the Mighty, we have Marauders dotted all the way along the front line. Cheap, cheerful, happy to be here, down for a good fat scrap. In the central pocket though, we do have some Chaos Warriors, and they're backed up by Chosen with Halberds. What is this madness? I love it. You never get to see Chosen with Halberds. It's always the great weapons or the basic variety. So we have some bad to the bones elite Chaos Warriors here with us today. Triple Chaos Warhounds in the back, not poison, which is an interesting choice, but I guess trying to save a bit of money. And we have a horde of Dragon Ogres, I should say, two in fact, led by Kolek Suneater. Can't get more thematic than that. He's going to be bringing his smaller brethren and cousins to the party. He's coming in with a simple stand or die. Now, where is the castle? Looks like hidden in the front lines with a Chaos Sorcerer of Death with a Humble Spirit Leech. This is a cool build. I'm a big fan of it. That is some rock and roll stuff, and it's certainly going to be able to punch through the enemy rather well. Now, the Rat Ogres, as well as, I keep calling them Rat Ogres, Dragon Ogres, there we go, alongside Kolek are certainly going to have to move around the battlefield, though, as there's a lot of cavalry going to overwhelm each flank. We don't have to worry too much about the Mounted Yeomen. Go when ready. Go. Not that Grumpy God is bad, he's just overshadowed about all the other lords. That is true, Grumpy God, as well. It's just Skarsonic's very good. Azag's pretty decent, Wurzag's pretty decent, Grom is incredibly powerful. The basic old war boss as well can be pretty fun to use, but I wouldn't say competitive. But here we are. Looks like one of them has indeed readied up. Good luck to both the champs. Looks like we're seeing good luck, have fun from both of them. Always good to see good sportsmanship. Of course, when we kicked off Death Before Us Online, it still is about it. The main thing is sportsmanship, of course. If you're a good sport, you're always welcome back for more in the future. And the Fae and Paladins are going to be leading the force. It's kind of quite cinematic, I suppose, on her white unicorn in front of all the forces, but the peasant mobs will be overtaking her now as Kolek comes crashing forward, and it looks like Leopard may be going for a central charge straight down the gullet. There's not too much to stop them either, but that would sacrifice a lot of the other units to these cavalry coming swarming down the flanks, and the Companions going balls to the walls straight in on the Marauders, sending them flying, slaughtering them where they stand. And it's a free damage. It's nothing nearby can assist and help here. The Warhounds struggling to get into decent positions. It looks like the Dragon Ogres have started to push out to the flanks. However, the front line will crumble rather quickly. Marauders will make short work of them, but the Foot Squires are going to do very well here. In the centre as well, this is a big problem for Leopard. The Double Paladin has hunted down that Chaos Sorcerer Lord, or Chaos Sorcerer, not Lord, And he's on foot, so he's going to get absolutely slaughtered. He needs the assistance of Kolek as well as the Dragon Ogres over here if he wants to save his caster. But again, not too much money invested over there. Looks like a Chalice of Potions is going to be coming down from the skies, being conjured into the universe, but it is going to miss literally everything. As good play by Leopard, he just simply hammers through this flank and can now easily shut down the Peasant Bowmen. They're going to be wasted value for the most part. In the distance, Mounted Yeomen are coming around for the rear attacks, which is good to see, although they do need to speed it up a little bit, as the Chaos Marauders are making short work of this front line, and it looks like the Sorcerer is just able to escape with his life due to Kolek crumping in here. The Paladins deciding, you know what, we don't want to tussle with such a mighty beast. F the lady, let's run. Peasant Bowmen are currently getting munched on by Chaos Warhounds, although somehow, it looks like because all the Knights are coming crashing, the Chaos Warhounds are going to be pushed off. Peasants being saved, but only even one unit. It's relatively easy to protect you with hope, but his rest of his build was quite aggressive, so I'm not so sure on the synergy there. Chaos Warhounds are being slaughtered on this left-hand side by the Quest Knights, who have Favour of Fate plus Regrowth on them, although they are taking an absolute pounding still from these Dragon Ogres. In comes another unit of Questing Knights though, and this is really good play, pinning these guys in. The Companions are over here, and these Dragon Ogres are certainly overextended, but in comes the second unit. It's a sandwich situation. And in the main fight, let's have a little look to see how Kolek is doing on. Not too bad, going toe-to-toe with double Paladin as well as the Fae is a little bit scary, but he is supported as well by some of his own troops, and this left-hand side is going very well for Chaos. Mounted Yeomen being finished up by Chosen with Halberds, and both the Halberd units are pretty much full health, which is pretty scary. Now, the Paladin has been disengaged from the main fight to try and hunt down the Chaos Sorcerer. Good idea all round. Companions have been hit by a Spirit Leech, and the Chosen are nearby, although it looks like they're disengaging to try and duel the Paladin. The double Dragon Ogres as well doing a decent job, just crumping down a huge portion of the cav. Now that Regrowth and Favour has worn off, that is bad news for them. Kolek is being hunted by a Paladin, but he cares not for the petty thoughts and wants of mankind. Instead, just deciding to come back here, splatter a few peasants, and massive shout out to these peasants, holding the line where I definitely would have started to run away screaming. Chosen are going to be able to clear through Foot Squires, despite the fact it's not their perfect job for them to do. Chaos Warriors are as well now surrounded by Foot Squires. A very close game here. These Peasant Bowmen somehow keep getting back online. It looks like the Paladins are going to be coming over to try and deal with Kolek, but a big problem here for Bretonnia is a ton of their cavalry is really battered or broken and run for the hills. Yes, double Paladin is nice, but it simply cannot hold up to so many troops. You need to saturate your Paladins on top of other cavalry, other units, and it looks like that's what the Peasant mobs have been called up to do. And it looks like Kolek's actually taking an absolute pounding here, down to about half health. He needs to fall back here. Chaos Sorcerer can, of course, drop some lovely Spirit Leeches onto these cav to try and stop them coming back. But the Bretonnia fighting back hard at this moment. These Chosen with Halberds are in the wrong positions. They need to be stacking right here on top of Kolek so they can just drag down the Paladins very quickly, as well as the Fae help support them where possible. But at the same time, it's easier said than done. Unreal Expectation is making some good plays on them, force them away from the main fight, although they have now arrived. But is it a little too late, with Kolek being so low health at this point and the Paladins looking incredibly healthy? This unit of Peasant Bowmen is soon to be shut down. Chaos Warriors trying to shove their way through to beat them back where possible. And this is a full unit, well, not full unit, but 42 Chosen Halberds who could be used over here in a far better situation. Kind of been wasted hunting Foot Squires, although it looks like some Marauders have now been clear, and Kolek has pushed once more into the back line, trying to leave the Chosen to mop up these troops, as the Chaos Sorcerer, who's been hunted all game, once again gets another Spirit Leech off and gets to safety. Really good micromanagement so far by both players, but nice play there by Leopard to keep him alive. It looks like the Peasant Bowmen are running for the hills once more. The Companions charging heroically, but heroic doesn't necessarily equal success, unfortunately, and they're getting slaughtered to the last man here. Just two fighting, and down they go from one mighty punt from the legendary Kolek. Balance power is currently in favour of Bretonnia, however. These Halberds have now been isolated on their own. These Chaos troops definitely want to be fighting together at the moment. Big tear out going down on the Peasants, and that balance power is probably slightly inflated due to the damage taken on Kolek compared to Fae. Looks like we are going to get another Chalice of Potions dropped down here as well. Probably not going to hit too much, but he's just trying to get any damage he can on the Chosen. Kolek needs to certainly be cycle charging this where possible, and it looks like that actually did more damage to the Peasants than it did the Chosen. And one Paladin is going to be going down here. Real bold play by Leopard coming in for the assassination attempt. Now he needs to pull out. Use these Dragon Ogres to chase off this last Paladin so he doesn't come out and fall back with Kolek. But it looks like I know little about the ways of Chaos. One does simply not pull back Kolek. Instead, you just pick the next target and crush them as well. Leopard showing he's got more pride than I do in Kolek, who's now able to push back the Fae, but she is deadly swift, and it looks like all the Hound units have been dealt with and pushed off the field, so she is most likely going to rally if she can make some distance, but the longer she's off the field, the better for Chaos, as now they're going to be able to swamp these Paladins. Dragon Ogres up to double Chevron now, very impressive stuff, and the left-hand side will eventually be won by these Chosen. It's just taking them far too long a time. Leave that for the Chaos Warriors and drag yourselves over here. Kolek is on the pursuit. It looks like he has given up, though. The Fae probably would have been able to recover anyway. Minus 12 leadership, though, isn't too fantastic. Looks like Kolek is once again on the prowl. His Dragon Ogres have abandoned him, and he may have a 1v1 fight with a Paladin, which will not go well for him if the Fae can rally. She's up to 3 leadership as well, but down she goes off the field, and that is going to be game. If she'd managed to rally, heal up this Paladin, pop Favor of the Fae on him, Kolek would probably be dead, and this could be a different tale altogether. But the other Paladin racing to the aid of his ally. Kolek, though, is an absolute world beater. 893 health left. The Paladins simply cannot hold up against him. And even if they defeat him, everything else has been gone, and the Chosen would claim victory. So it looks like one of the players dropped out there at the end. Yeah, without Fae, Chosen will carry. So it's a good idea to try and attack her, I suppose. I tried to bring at least one halberd unit in multiplayer games now, regardless of matchup. They seem effective. Yes, they've certainly been improved. Most halberds in general kind of got a cost reduction, I think, in recent patches. Very well played to both these champs. Unreal Expectations dragging it all the way to the limit, but Leopard managed to carry through. Kolek Sanita, 99 kills, 10k damage dealt, 2,200 damage value. Very impressive stuff. Chaos Sorcerer as well. Simple Spirit Leech, never underestimate it. 1,200 damage value, 4k damage dealt, just popping away Quest Knights over time. Of course, Marauders didn't do fantastic. That's not their job here. They're just slowly chew through cheap units, whereas the Chaos Warriors and Chosen did far better. This unit, 3k damage value, 12,000 damage dealt, 102 kills, very good stuff. And the other unit was fighting foot squires and other units, so not quite the same damage value, still very impressive, but, you know, more kills, I suppose. Chaos Warhounds, though, were unfortunately a little bit hammered by the superior cav, and the Dragon Ogres did a decent job across the board, as we can see, 1.9k damage value and 1.3. As for Unreal Expectations, his Quest Knights unfortunately didn't do the best damage value. They did really good job of protecting that one unit of Peasant Bowmen. The problem is it's just a single unit, it's not like multiple units, so protecting it wasn't going to win the game, and they ended up getting crumped in the end by the Dragon Ogres, although this unit of Peasants did do good value. And the first squires across the board, not too bad, but I'm still not the biggest fan of them. The main meat of his build, of course, is that Fae Paladin combo, 1k damage value, 900, 1.7, always very solid. GG. Next map is River and Maxon. There we go, so that is going to be 1-0 so far in the first semi-finals. Hello, my trusty ducky. Hope you are awesome. I am. Thank you, Von Carstein. I'm not doing too bad at all. I am currently chair-bound, unfortunately. I had an operation on my foot like earlier in the week, but honestly it went all well and it doesn't even like hurt or anything, so I'm doing very good. I love Kolek's hammer effects. It's so metal. Oh, hell yeah. It's so good. And Halberd's got an attack speed buff. Ooh. Does that include Temple Guard? Because if so, Temple Guard already had pretty good speed, but they're a halberd unit technically. So let's have a look. So it looks like Void Lords did make it through against Legion, so let's just pop a fin to him. Well done, Void. You are in the second semi. Cool, just sorting out the other semi-finals. So the other semi-final will be between Legion and Void Lords, two very competitive, good players. We'll hop over to that one, of course, after this. Let's update the scoreboard quickly. So Leopard does take the lead here. Let's go for 1 there. But of course, this is best of 3, so there's still plenty of time here for Unreal Expectations to drag it out. Normal hounds are a meme anyway. Yeah, I much prefer the poison ones. I mean, I understand like the cheapness if you're trying to save. They do a relatively similar job, but the poison's just so much better for the cost. Not Temple Guard. Boo. Boo. Oh, is it only halberds without shields or something that gained the speed buff? Which makes sense. Temple Guard are so good anyway. What's up, Gene? Hope you're doing good, man. I love your enthusiasm for Krokgar. But please don't spam it too much in chat, otherwise Palpatine will pull out a hammer. But yeah, Temple Guard are so cool. Like, thematically, they're one of the most badass units. They may as well be unbreakable. They're so cool. I think they had Stubborn in... I'm trying to think, way back in the day when I played Templetop, I think they had something called Stubborn. And if a Slann was in their unit, because you literally pick characters into units back in the day, if a Slann was in their unit, they became unbreakable, I think. Because that's how loyal they were to their wards. Mr. Leopard is going to be picking Empire, banning Greenskins and the Dowie forces. Two good bans, particularly the Dowie ban. Dowie are just disgusting against Empire. Just bring like 4 cannons and you're good. You just shoot everything. And you can even go the air game as well, just to slowly whistle away knights. It's just a really cost-effective way of doing it. And you're going to win the front line with like the cheapest Dowie warriors. So we'll have to see who Unreal Expectations does go to counterpick here. I haven't seen him play before. This is his first time on the channel and his first time playing in front of a live audience. So he may have a little bit of nerves as well, but he's done very well in that first game. So we'll just have to see if he can drag it back where possible. What's up, Aristodemus? How's it going, man? It looks like you got the hammer. I'm assuming you popped in about 5,000 ducks. I hope you're doing all good, man. My housemate, who's relatively new to the game, has you as a... I think you're the referee in his Warhammer World Championships games, which is kind of funny. What's up, Mr. Ronan? The boy. How's it going, dude? We had a really cool game with you the other day. Up on the channel. Nakai is the coolest there is. Nakai does have a lot of swag points. But he's unfortunately absolutely abysmal, unfortunately. Yeah, no, Yeoman can, like, be good now and again. In that matchup against Chaos, I mean, maybe it's just a cheap way of hunting down Lord of Horsemen, I guess, would be my main best there. Yeah, feel free to pop a duck in chat, just don't, you know, don't go crazy. Hey Duck, quick question. Do you think Lizardmen will get 2 more DLCs in the future? I think out of the Warhammer 2 core races, them and Skaven would have enough fluff to create units. I could certainly see it being possible. I don't think for, honestly, like a couple of years maybe. They won't be getting the DLC before to Warhammer 3. I'm 99% sure it's going to be Dark Elves and Beastmen. I have no like info on that, by the way, but like an educated guess kind of points towards those guys. Lizardmen certainly have more units. They even have a few more tabletop units you could bring to the table, like Skink Oracles, Troglodons, that type of stuff. So I definitely think they will get a DLC, but it's going to be after the first wave of DLCs for Total War Warhammer 3. So we probably have Warhammer 3, a load of new factions, Chaos Dwarfs, Hobgoblins, that type of stuff. And then when they start pairing stuff, like they've done recently with Total Warhammer 2 and 1 factions, they'll probably start pairing Total Warhammer 3 and 2 together and all that good stuff. So not for a while, but yes, I do think at some point. Unreal Expectations is going to Vampire Counts with an old school Total War Warhammer 1 grudge match. What's up, Legion, man? Good luck in your semi-finals. You're going to be up after either this game, or if this does go all the way, up after the one after that. Doing good. Awesome, man. Good to hear, dude. Sadly, for what he stands for, Nakai is not worth half his price. Yeah, Nakai needs some love. Some love. I mean, a few of the Lizardmen Lords, honestly, could get a few small, quite easy tweaks as well. Like, Krokgar definitely needs a spear. I don't understand why he doesn't have it. I mean, he's still good anyway, but it would make him, you know, bring him to the forefront a little bit more. I see Lizardmen vs Beastmen as an option for the last Warhammer 2 DLC. So I agree. That's like maybe the only other option. But I think, I may be completely wrong because I heard this from someone, so it may not be the most reliable information. Don't Dark Elves have less legendary lords than Lizardmen? And that's a worry, because I'm pretty sure CA at some point said they wanted all the Warhammer 2 factions to have a set minimum number of legendary lords by game 3, and I think Dark Elves don't reach that limit yet. But I'd be more than happy for that. I mean, it's a battle of the dinos, right? Beasts versus dinos. I'd be a very happy man if Lizardmen got some more stuff. Quack Hank, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're all good in the herd. Good to see you here, man, as always. You've made it in time. This is the First semi-final, second game. So still plenty to come. After this, we have Legion versus Voidlulls, two very good competitive players. So I'm excited to see how those guys fare against each other. And the winner of that will face the winner of this semi-final in a best-of-5 finals. It's going to be some crazy stuff. We're also probably going to do another tournament. I'm trying to think. I don't know if we're going to do another Death Before Dishonour next week or the week after. I want to get in another one army battle royale at some point because that was such good fun. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, Dark Elves have 5, so I think it's most likely going to be them. Because I think they were only speaking about Warhammer 2 factions with the Lord option, so obviously a load of the Warhammer 1 ones don't have the luxury yet. What's up for Sarkhan? Or Forskarm? Forskarm. That's what I'm going to go with. Hope you're all good, buddy. Alpaca of the Mountain. Love the name. Please be Beastman. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Beastman. I hope so. What's up, Samurai Warrior? The legendary man, the myth, the legend himself. Dark Elves have the Black Guard of Nagaron. What else do you need? Exactly, just bring them. Just spam them, it's fine. I'm ready, ready, awesome. Good luck, have fun, lads. Let's hop in here. So do you guys think Leopard can claw his way into an early finals, or will Unreal Expectations put some Unreal Expectations on himself and come back here to this first semi-final? Malekith, Loki, Hellebron, Malice, and Marathi. 5. All others have 6. Yeah, that's why my educated guess is Beastmen, because they need the most love by far. Up against Dark Elves. The one problem that CA are probably looking at is Beastmen are the most unpopular faction, like by far the most unplayed. Now that could be due to the fact that their campaign is by far the worst, and they're not the best at multiplayer. But also they were never really that popular on tabletop. I seem to remember them being kind of put to the side a little bit there as well, so they might want to pair them with a more popular faction, and I think Lizardmen are one of the most popular ones, so maybe. Anyway, let's hop into the battle. So, for Unreal Expectations fighting his way back here, we do have some glorious Blood Knights, some of the best cav in the game. They're so cool and badass. I have no idea why they don't have the hunger, but maybe that'd make them a little bit too OP. We do have zombies and Graveguard mixed throughout. Actually, it looks like he's going to be deploying back. So we go through the Empire first and come back to him, as it looks like Legion, or not Legion, Leopard is nearly in position already. Spearmen on the flanks to protect against cavalry, of course. We have Flagellants in the front line. These guys are very scary, just warrior fanatics of Sigma. Unbreakable. Like, look at this guy. Like, how does this support Sigma? I'll never understand this, but these guys, unbreakable, really good choice for a front line. We have Knights of the Blazing Sun to cycle charge through the front, which is also really good. And they're going to be rolling dirty with a warrior priest on horseback, coming with all his buffs. Always been a good combo, and of course, they do fire damage. Fire damage up against undead factions has always been very good. With Jade Wizard come in with Shield of Thorns as well as Earthblood. And over on this left-hand side, Leopard loves a rock and roll build. Triple Demigryph Knights, all with halberds as well. Can't get much more gangster than this. Rolling with a Volkmar the Grim on horseback. Jade Griffin is here. It looks like so is Grand Hammer of Sigma and Grand Shield of Faith. You've got to give it to Leopard. He is one of the most exciting players to watch that we've seen. His builds always come in with the craziest of punches. So for the forces of the Vampire Counts, I will let these guys know they are not allowed to just hide in the terrain. We have zombies dotted throughout. We have Graveguard as well as Regiment Renowned Skeleton Warriors. Regiment of Renowned Sternsmen, more Graveguard as well. Just an elite corps after a chaffy front line as to be expected. We do have a Corpse Cart as well as a White King on foot. A second White King on foot. And where's his Lord? Another Corpse Cart. Where's your Lord hiding? Did I go through you already and just completely miss you? Where are you? Is he up over here? Oh, we have another Horseback Lord. This is really cool. So you have Blood Knight and a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord on his Blood Knight steed. That is actually really awesome. I haven't seen this guy before in this position. He's come with Heart Piercer, Helm of Discord, Raised Dead, Valheim's Dance Macabre, as well as Invocation of the Hex. So all good stuff. And we also have Dire Wolves on the flanks. This is some pretty crazy stuff. Heads up, Unreal. You need to move your forces from the forest. You can't have the majority of an army in a forest. Cool. I'm pretty sure those are the rules anyway, unless I'm messed it off the top of my head, but you're not allowed to have the majority of your force in the forest. But it looks like he's going to be pushing out anyway, so he can just attack, and we can just have a leopard kind of sit tight for now, which is all good. Direwolves are wrapping it around to the flanks, and the Blood Knights are over there as well. They need to be a bit careful. They don't want to get 2v1'd at any point. They are isolated from their other friends, but it looks like at the moment everything is going all good. Direwolves are going to get pounced upon by the Demigryphs. Of course, they didn't know they were here, and it looks like they're going to be putting their tails between their legs and trotting away. Something I do not... don't think that's a bad idea whatsoever, as Demigryphs do bound towards them. Of course, they're going to be able to floor them. The Vampire Counts do need to move out of the forest, but I mean, Leopard's going headlong in here to take the engagement, so he's not really given the chance to leave the forest. But if he wants to, he could pull back, and he would have to kind of move out where possible. But it looks like a lot of his forces are slowly as well starting to come out. Knights of the Blazing Sun are charging in for a ramrod front line approach into the Sternsman, which is a good idea, of course, because 5 damage. Hammer of Sigma has gone down. Shield of Faith. These Sternsmen not going to be having a good time whatsoever, although it looks like we have even more buffs coming down. The Hammer of Sigma, and it looks like the Wrath of Sigma has been called down from the skies, obliterating some zombies, doing some really nice work here. Demigryphs as well are floating over on this left-hand side. Looks like they're going to be trying to crump down on these zombies and Graveguard. Really good micromanagement so far by Leopard. That should be able to break up these troops, but of course, they are unbreakable in the form of crumbling, so they're not going to have too many problems there with their leadership. Spearmen also starting to push over to the front line. Really lovely frontal charge, and this is a good example by Leopard of that you can use cavalry in the front lines. It doesn't matter too much. Oh no! Leopard, though, after such good micro, it looks like he has left Volkmar out of position, and he needs to fall back, but there are some Direwolves who are going to pin him in place. Beautiful catch by Unreal Expectations. The Demigryphs need to force their way through. It looks like Direwolves are pinning their lives on the line, so only some of the Demigryphs can get in to save this. Helm of Discord has gone down. Volkmar is in big, big trouble. We have Shield of Thorns going down, Grand Shield of Faith as well, but this is a really bad situation for the force of the Emperor, where everywhere else on the battlefield they're doing so well, really breaking down the enemy. Knights of Blazing Sun have now disengaged. They're going to be wrapping around and floating in, but I think Volkmar may be dead, and that is a massive throw by Leopard. Everything else was going so well. Scatterscape going down as the line, helping clear out some of the chaff. Knights of Blazing Sun just don't know what to do. They can't charge in this way. Demigryphs are blocking their path, and Volkmar has been dealt with. Now, it's not all over. If he can save Volkmar, there is certainly a possibility he can do so and drag down these Blood Knights. It will be a worthwhile trade all round. Knights of Blazing Sun are starting to wrap up around this engagement now, looking to come in the rear. Warrior Priest is going to be chanting warrior cries of Sigma, trying to rally his troops in. It looks like he's going to be popping down Hammer of Sigma. It does catch these Knights of the Blazing Sun, but Volkmar is getting very low at this point. But what is it going to cost the Undead to kill him? Demigryph Knights, Knights of the Blazing Sun are all engaged, but Volkmar is shattered. Blood Knights not looking too shabby either. Over on the far side, it's just a bit of a mess. Obviously, both players are microing over in the main battle. So we have some Flagellants just kind of vibing, and others just going kind of grinding up against Graveguard. So it looks like this is going to be going all the way, most likely, to the next game without their Lord. But despite Earthblood coming down on the Knights of the Blazing Sun and Demigryphs, they're really struggling up against the double Blood Knights, who are punching far above their own weight here at the moment, up against the elite Demigryph cavalry. And it looks like this Jade Wizard's just kind of kicking thin air there and vibing at the moment. Demigryphs do have a Shield of Faith popped on them. Going to turn, they are slowly dragging down both these Blood Knights, but it's a heavy cost with Volkmar, as well as a lot of Demigryphs taking huge damage across the board. But if they can finish off both the Blood Knights, if Unreal Expectation doesn't pull these guys out, it's going to get real messy real quickly, because then they can simply surround the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, and the infantry won't be able to fight off so much cavalry. It looks like both players have remembered their more fringe units. We have Knights of the Blazing Sun, Spearmen all coming back into the main fray. Let's get a glorious close-up view of just the absolute carnage of knight-on-knight action. Now, in real life, if you ever come to a standstill and you're on a horseback, you're in a very bad situation. You never want to be not moving, basically, if you're a horse. You want to be kind of constantly on the prowl. And it looks like the Empire certainly doing better cycle charging, and that could swing this tide back in favour of the Empire forces. Blood Knights holding on firm, somehow still not crumbling despite the insane amount of damage they have taken. Knights of Blazing Sun doing some good shock damage there. White King, though, this is huge, has chased off that Jade Wizard. They need some cavalry to disengage to save this little buddy, because that healing is going to be massive in the end game, and it looks like some Knights of Blazing Sun are doing just that. All they need to do is distract the White King, fling him onto the floor, keep him away from the Jade Wizard long enough for him to rally. But with all the leadership gone, it looks like the Empire forces may break. Those Blood Knights have performed insane there to hold the line. They've been surrounded by elite Demigryphs and Knights of the Blazing Sun for a good couple of minutes, or a good minute or so, I suppose, and it looks like that is going to be game to the Vampire Counts. Yeah, he can stand in the forest for there, but I'm just saying he had to leave the forest. He couldn't just vibe there. But at the same time, he didn't have the opportunity to pull out completely because Leopard just bomb rushed in. Let's drop them a little GG. What's carrying on? Oh, we've got some we've got some of the boys scrapping it over here. It looks like Leopard is going to drop out that one. Oh my god, we have the man, the myth, the duck legend. Poison Ducky is in chat. Please yell quack quack at him where possible. Yeah, the Empire didn't have to, basically, so the Count still had time, technically they could deploy there, they had to pull through the forest. The Empire didn't have to attack, like, they could have just waited and be like, cool, I'm waiting for you to leave the forest, then you come engage me, which would have been the better play, because obviously the cavalry fighting in the trees isn't so good, but that didn't really determine anything, because the main engagement was on the left-hand side, and thrown away Volkmar unfortunately cost Leopard that game. He did really good, considering he lost his lord so early on, but if we look at the cost of damage across the board, nothing doing too fabulous. Knights of Blazing Sun, 900, 983 here. Demigraphs, 1.2, 1.6, 1.3. So they did good damage, but it was a little too late. And oh my god, the Blood Knights, 1.5k damage value, 2.8 against all those Demigraphs. These guys were absolute linebackers. And yeah, everywhere elsewhere, nothing too crazy. It really was about the Battle of the Cavalry, to be honest. No, it's all good. Empire didn't have to attack into forest, though. Cool. So let's move on to the last map here, which is going to be Schwesterhafen. Map is set. Unreal to pick 3 factions and ban 1. Good stuff. Oh, we have a Mr. J Phoenix in here as well. How are you doing today, bud? Volkmar is so drunk on Sigma he forgot his chariot. Yeah, that was the problem. He was like, you know, I mean, it was cool though. It was really cool seeing him on his horse and seeing the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord on a Blood Knight steed. I've never seen him like that. I always see him on the dragon. It's insane. Yeah, no, the forest. Yeah, the forest wind's fine. It's fine. Yeah, Warhammer 1 faces have like 4 lords for the most part. Some have 2. They need to be topped up. I don't know when Norsk will ever get a DLC. They might get a bit of a really working game for it, I feel, with the heavy form on Chaos. So Unreal is picking Greenskins, Empire, Lizardmen. Then just make sure these guys double up. I'm sure they do, but then Leopard picks and bans 1. Then Unreal picks from his last 2. Go. Good stuff. Why is it called Black Harbour if it's so far from the ocean? I don't know what... Is that a map? I can't remember, my favourite map is picked. Noise. It has indeed been summoned. And we had a Vampire Counts game. It's all coming out. It's all kind of looking good for Mr. Poison Ducky. I love the cries of the Empire. Oh, retreat, retreat. Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that bound banishment right there, that would have been super tasty. Just dropping it on those Blood Knights. They just held for an age. I mean, Invocation Heck, it's so good. It's such a good combo. So Leopard is going to be banning Greenskins. Always a good choice because Greenskins are incredibly powerful. But so is Skaven, honestly. These are 3 pretty powerful factions. Oh no, he banned Skaven. He banned Skaven. Okay. Greenskins, Empire, Lizardmen. So he's gone High Elves. So he's happy to take High Elves into Empire and Lizardmen. As a Lizardman player, I love the High Elf Lizardman matchup. I love it. It's so good for Lizardmen, in my opinion. I'm sure there's like counter builds to what I do. But basically, you can take the Mighty Zlak, or Mazdamundi, and then Zlak, even though we all know Zlak's the true mastermind. You take the Thunderous one. You can even chuck in a Carnosaur if you're feeling like it. Triple Pterodons, a little bit of a wide front line. and you just push through with the big dinosaurs. They can net like one of them, maybe even two of them, but they're not going to be able to net all three. You continue to push into the back line. If they've got Dragon Princes coming in as well, you just drop your Banishments, you drop your Ruinations on the archers, and if they don't move, they're going to die, so they move back so they're not shooting, and then your Pterodons just swoop in. It's really nasty. But, you know. Oh, it's German for Black Harbour. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it is called that. Will we have same maps? No, Legion. Your maps are Altdorf Outskirts, Toothgrass Hill, and Tower of Hoeth. Which are some pretty good maps. And then the finals are going to be played on Pillar of Bone, Gorgazan, Alpine Ridge, Blue Reach River, and the Orgum Shard, if we go all the way. Which I thought would be a pretty fun map to end it on. But I don't think... It might not go, you know, all that way, possibly. And we do have Lizman from Unreal Expectations. Leopard is ready. So it looks like he's prepared for this. Now, of course, Sister Avalon, Techless with nets, is still very good here. And it can come down to those nets. And if you play them well, you have a chance. If you play them badly, you kind of get walked over. So it's a little tricky. Although I think Dragon Princes can do pretty good here. At least the Firebomb. You just cycle charge down the entire front line. And if any big dinosaurs want to rumble, you can feel free to. Oh, Toothgrass. Is it Toothgrass Hill? Have I completely butchered that? It's got like one hill on the right hand side, I think. I guess it depends. It depends. If it like crashes your game or something, let me know. Because I know people have had that map crash on them before. Google Translate says it's Blackport. Interesting. Oh, I just dislike the map. Oh, that's alright. That's okay then. It's a relatively even map, though, I think. You often have one player kind of commit to taking the hill and see if the other wants to try the same. If not, it would be a more tactical game where one person takes the lower ground. There's like, come at me, bro. We both got to attack each other at the same time. They're going to meet in the middle. Sorry, just a sec. No rush. Actually, I think that's given me a good opportunity to change the scores. So in this first semi-final, it is now 1-1. Let's check Discord. Legion, you will be joining my lobby, I'm afraid, bud. So just replying to some messages, guys. So yeah, Legion, the lobby will be up. It'll just be this lobby. You just hop into this one. The password is !duck. Yeah, and it's called like DBD semis and finals or something. I don't think there are any rivers in Sylvania. I may be wrong though. I don't live there. It sometimes glitches textures. Okay, well hopefully it's all good. I mean, you guys can sort out your builds and stuff. Just save them and then pop over to me, Legion. It's cool. That is true. Technically, if you're undead, you're not living there either. It does indeed. So we're just waiting on Mr. Unreal Expectations. He's obviously plotting and scheming, trying to figure out how to take this. But yeah, I think large entities have always been good against high elves. And they have the tools to deal with them. Halberds, you know, in the form of Phoenix Guard. Great archers as well. But the problem is pinning in those large dinosaurs before they get into your back line. Funny enough, maybe not on this, probably not on this map actually at all, but you can bring an Ancient Salamander in this matchup. If it gets close enough, obviously you have to have other distractions, such as like Mazamundion's Lack or something. But if he's pushing through, all the archers want to focus fire that down. A Ancient Salamander does disgusting damage up against high elf foot troops. It is horrifying how much damage it can do in bursts, but it's got to get really close and it's really squishy. So it's a little bit of finesse and niche to it, so I don't think this map, which is quite flat and open, would be the best use, but it's one of the matchups it can work okay in. You maybe could have a port in a swamp. It wouldn't be the loveliest port in the world. And here we are, guys. The final match of this first semi-final. And let's go over the Lizard Men first. So has he done something different to what I do? He has indeed, which is always good to see different forms of playstyles. So he's starting to set up his troops in the front lines, or in the vanguard, I should say. We have 4 units of Chameleon Skinks. Very good in this matchup. Good against elves in general. Elves are pretty squishy folk and rather expensive. So anything which does good, consistent damage and is hard to kill is always nice and useful. We have skink cohorts mixed in with skink cohorts with javelins for a front line, and a bit of a hero blob. So we have the Legion of Shaqua, who's going to try and aid in tanking any missile damage. Of course, they do come in with their shield ability for that 44% missile resistance. With a Slan Mage Priest of Fire, Burning Head, Cascading Fire Cloak, and Flaming Sword of Rune, as well as his banishments and all his other good stuff. We have double Sora Scar Veteran. Now, this is a unit I heavily underuse. I basically never bring them, but they are very good. And Darv Plays has a really good video on these guys recently. So we have double Sora Scar Veteran. Of course, they do come with their cold-blooded, but that is it. We have a Gary, aka a Bastildon, with Solar Engine up on each hill. So 2 of them, and they're protected by double Cold One Spear Riders. Pretty fun, interesting build. I like it. For the forces of the High Elves, it's a little bit more traditional here, and he's probably going to have a good time up against the Bastildons, at least initially. We have double Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, going to be very good at trading range-wise. We also have triple archers in the back here, only the basic archers though, so nothing too crazy. Frontline is going to be Silvern Guard mixed in with Spearmen. Silvern Guard actually on the flanks, their magic resistance really useful here. We have double rangers in that central pocket, helping to kind of really grind through the enemy front lines, which will do actually brilliant up against those skinks. Real inspired pick. We have triple Dragon Princes, and they're going to be led by Alariel the Radiant. No techless. Interesting. She's going to come in with Star of Avalon, Arcane Conduit, Tempest to try and take down any Pterodon Riders, which is one of the biggest nuisances in this matchup. So, big fan of that pick. And we have Earthblood. The Dragon Princes are going to be pretty rock and roll here, actually. Be interesting. If they sit too long, though, on top of Sora Scar Veterans, and they're like, they'd be in trouble. Good luck, have fun, lads. Demos has been back. What's up, man? I hope you're all good. Interesting, not expect the Slanna Fire. Yeah, there's one problem the Slanna Fire is going to have here, is Dragon Princes come in with some pretty ridiculous fire resistance of 70. Ugh. So he's going to be useless up against them. Now yeah, they're going to be a big problem. He's going to have to slowly drag them down with the Cold One Spear Riders and get some good engagements with these Scar Veterans who are anti-large. But that's going to be really tough because the Bastildons, again, one of his biggest damage outputs here, does fire damage. It's going to be absolutely useless against them. And they are being targeted, though, hunted down by those Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. Really nice Duke, and though this Bastildon has the moves like Jagger, bouncing back and forth there, trying to make... What was the main guy called in Dodgeball called? Vince Vaughn? That might be completely wrong. Anyway, doing a good dodging back and forth. Skink cohorts are starting to charge forward. Getting some javelins in on those rangers would be a really nice pick, and it looks like that is what they're aiming for. Of course, rangers do not have shields like this front line, but brilliant micro by Leopard. Simply drag them back, move up the Silvern Guard to take those shots. Of course, you have all those glorious shields, and it's not too much of a problem, although it looks like some of the rangers will get caught, and that's really big burst damage straight out of the gate. Over on the other side, Chameleon Skinks are peppering down some archers, and it looks like the Silvern Guard are now starting to reposition before to begin to push back those Chameleon Skinks where possible. Bolt throwers are currently really safe. Looks like one unit of Dragon Princess may be disengaged at this point, sent out on the hunt of these Chameleon Skinks, and now they're deciding to actually charge into the front line, which is, again, not too bad. Leopard, we saw in the previous game, showed the power of cycle charging through the front line. Looks like we are going to have a Burning Head coming down the line. It looks like it was a little bit misplayed, though, here, as it's not gone down the line of Spearmen or this unit of Silver Guard like it was probably meant to. Instead, it was a bit of a miss, and that's a huge blow. You need to try and take down this chaff as quickly as possible if he wants a chance to succeed in. Chameleon Skinks currently raining fire down on the Silver Guard there. Big Fat Banishment is coming down, though. That's going to do massive damage to these Rangers. Really good stuff. Dragon Princes were able to pull out, however, and although they may dance back through the fire and the flames, they care not for your pesky magics. Slan before they hop onto the Cold One Spear Riders, catch them on the charge, and it's already looking pretty good for the forces of the High Elves at this point. Spearmen are doing a good job of just ushering away Chameleon Skinks from key targets, and Dragon Princes are getting those one-on-one engagements up against Cold One Spear Riders, but it looks like more support is going to come in the rear. These guys are going to be caught between a rock and a very pointy Silver Guard stick. Backline is still secure, which is an absolute bad sign if you're the Lizardmen here. Archers and bolt throwers continue to rain in fire. One Basildon has been dealt with at this point, and a lovely Star of Avalon going to be healing up both these Dragon Princes who are crumping skink cohorts at the moment. And this is the problem with Footlords. It looks like Unreal, he knows. He knows. I think that was pretty game at that point. Could have fallen for a little while longer, but it was pretty much game. Yeah, like the magic, like low does help a bit, but not too much, and that was just a little bit unlucky. I think the builds really favoured Leopard here. Bolt throwers untouched at this point. Archers also doing absolutely fantastic, and there simply wasn't anything left to kill the Dragon Princes, who are all so incredibly healthy. One Gary down, Cold Riders dealt with at this point. He can avoid the Saurus Scarvetchans to the end of the game, and I think that was a bit of a quick one there. GG, well played. Good set of games. See you in the final. Feel free to join stream to see when you are up. Yeah, the high slam would be better there, I think. Tempest, just in case. You often get a lot of roll on her pigeon. But also, just bring Mazdamundi. Mazdamundi's so good here. Let's have a little sip. So, Void Lords, as well as Legion, if you guys are listening. When these guys hop out, feel free to join the lobby. Password is !duck. !duck, sorry. I'll message them in the Discord anyway. Legion. Void. You guys are up. Password is duck. Looks like Legion is here. Hey, lad. Cool, and the first map shall be Altdorf Outskirts. Let's update the scoreboard quickly then. So that was a 2-1 series in the end to the mighty Warrior Leopard. Close games though. Nice play by Unreal, dragging it back there. And having some good fun in that second game with the Vampire Counts. Always good to see them performing pretty well as, like, in tournaments. I don't get to see them terribly often, but they are actually pretty deadly in the hands of the right player. And Unreal certainly had a very good tournament all round. So we are going to have a Legion. And on the right-hand side, we have the mighty Void. So I don't think we've had Void on the channel before. I know he's played in an absolute ton of tournaments. So let's put that up there. And put the scores back down, and let's see if he has hopped in. Not yet. So if Void cannot find us, I can always pop him a friend code. Let's have a little drink. Oops, the implied message. Q. And we are nearly ready to go. Just waiting on the mighty Void to get in here. I fear the posh ones got it in the bag. Oh, the cold ones just, yeah. Yeah. It's always a sad day to see the Lizardmen struggle a little bit. But overall, they tend to have a pretty good showing in tournaments. A lot of top players bring them as well, so I always like to see them in action. Let's message Void. Hey bud, can you see the lobby? And we'll get this cracking. Oh yes, actually I was bringing the coffee as well. The ducks and the coffee is an unstoppable combo. Gosh, I've heard this one. Oh, sorry for my drink, yeah. My mic's like really good, but it picks up everything in the room, so it's like a recording mic normally for music and stuff. But it's good, it's my purpose. And it gets the job done. I don't think I have Void on my friends list. Maybe I do. Oh, he did. Okay. Who knows then? Who knows? I'll give him a couple of minutes. Don't worry, got me thirsty. Yeah, man. Yeah, casting, like, streaming in general just makes you, like, so thirsty and hungry. I don't have any food in the house either, so I need to actually run out after this and pick up a just bucket ton. I might get a takeaway. But that'd be a bit cheeky because I already had one this week. Hey, hey. So maps shall be Altdorf, outskirts. Tooth, Grass Hill, and Tower of Hearth. Oh, outdoor outskirts. Oh, they know what I mean. So it looks like Legion is going to be going Tomb Kings, banning Dowie and Grainskins. Two very good bans all round. I mean, Dowie is an interesting matchup for sure. But it'd be interesting to see who Void brings. Now, I'm not sure who Void plays in particular. Legion, as his name would suggest, is very good with all the undead factions all round. And actually, I saw some of his games for the Warhammer World Championships, and he's been playing very well recently. No food in the house, send help. Yeah, man. Yeah, I was a bit underprepared today. I was like, oh, it's fine. I'll go grab some food after the stream, and these things always go on a little longer than I think in my mind, and the shop may be closed, so we'll have to see. I've actually just got a drink of water today, Hedgehog, while I stream. I don't really drink tea or coffee, which I know is the most un-British statement of all time. I'm much more a hot chocolate connoisseur. When I gave my first seminar talk, I drank 2 glasses of water and 1 cup of coffee in 35 minutes. Oh, I'm sure, man. How was it, your first ever seminar talk? What do you teach? And then spent all day peeing. Just peeing whilst taking the second seminar. I've seen him play Lizardmen. Well, we may be treated here. But it looks like Void is going to be going Bretonia, of course. Bretonia very strong in the current meta. At least in the tournament scene now. And quick battles, they're not super strong because you have to be a pretty good player, I think, to make Bretonia work. But in tournament scene, they're pretty disgustingly good at the moment. Most likely going to see Fae, Double Paladin, the standard stuff right here. Heretic. Yeah, I know. I'm the most un-British British person sometimes. I've got a pretty Britishy accent, like classical British, I think. 'Cause I'm from the south. I now live in London, but I'm from like the south coast. But apart from that, my British roots don't go too deep. I haven't wanted to, you know, make an empire or anything. Well, saying that, a duck empire is on the cards. Pretty sure I've seen Void play the Brayhood. If we get Lizardmen and Beastmen action from Void, I'll be very excited to see what he brings. It was about Gauge mediated super. Oh my god, super symmetry breaking. Mate, I can't even say that quick enough, like, whilst doing this. That sounds pretty wild. I thought you were shooting, aren't you? I believe you told me before a little while ago. Looks like Legion is ready. Just waiting on the glorious Void. See how these guys scrap it out against one another. You sound like you speak the Queens. Yeah, I can go even posher. I've, like, had to play some roles before because I did acting. I like college and uni, where you have to go real British. Real old school British. It's kind of funny. I think my casting voice might be a little bit like... my mum has a phone voice, so she'll be like normal English, and then when she's on the phone, she goes full-on Queens. So I think I got a similar thing when casting games. Scheming for world domination. I'm always scheming for world domination. I don't know if you guys have seen Pinky and the Brain when you were younger. It was about 2 lab rats trying to overtake the world. Replace those rats with an evil duck, and you've basically got my life story. Sounds interesting. Yeah, sounds like it would blow my mind a little bit. Probably not the topic I would be best at. I am the Polish onion. Hell yeah. Man, onion soup is amazing. Not that I'm saying that people should cook you into a soup, but onions in general are like... onion soup in general is so underrated. It's so like basically good. Get some ciabatta, warm it up in the oven. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. As soon as I start streaming, food comes into my mind. I'm like, oh yes. Must devour everything after this. Looks like Void is still pondering. Let me check my Discord as well, make sure we have no more questions from the lads. I think we should be all good. Yep. Oh, cool. Looks like they're good to go. Let's get it cracking. So, Aldorf Outskirts, pretty fun map. It's a bit deceiving in that there's a few open pockets where you can shoot long range, but because of the layout of the land, with some of the roads going through and the bumpy hills, it really can mess up your targeting from your artillery on the approach of the enemy. But at the same time, Tomb Kings here, simply bring a Casket of Souls or Screamer Skull Catapult. And it's going to launch shots up and over those obstacles anyway, so you don't have to worry so much about it. Is there any way you can move all your units at the same time? Yes, press Alt. I believe it's Alt. I know it when I'm playing, but... So hold Alt and move, I think. Just trying to think off the top of my head. I can't do it without a unit in front of me. Yeah, physics was just a no. Ask me anything about biology, though. I did some of the sciences, like, when you were forced to at school. I'm actually, like, passed them all, I think, but my knowledge was very limited, and it's probably actually got worse with age more than anything else. I'm a bigger fan of history. In school, anyway. History and drama were my favourite subjects. I do mind English as well, but I'm not so good on the spelling and grammar front, but I'm quite good on the more creative side of things. Which is why when I did the Masters, I did the Creative Writing Masters. Yeah, you can group your whole army. I don't like grouping whole armies, though. Or at least locking them, if that's what you mean, if you want them to stay in the same formation. Like, if you hold Alt and move units, you can move them like up and down, left and right, and they stay in the exact same formation you've currently got them selected in, which you can do via lock-in as well, but it messes up a load of other things as well. So it looks like players are loading in here. The glorious city of Altdorf is currently being fought over. Empire not to be seen, however. The Bretonnians perhaps have rallied to their cause a little bit Lord of the Rings style. Hopefully we see like just mass cavalry. So duck biology master, hell yeah. I know all there is to know about ducks, and that's about it. And well, rubber ducks in particular. Rubber ducks are the elite. I like the fact they've got a little moat, but it's I suppose they're kind of protected by a cliff face over here. I don't know how I would attack Altdorf. But it looks like a relatively well-guarded city. Apart from you can't actually stand on the walls. Is that like a... Looks more like slated housing. I suppose there's inner walls and other stuff like that. Don't worry about the players taking too long to load in. It's actually about their computer, not about their internet connection. So hopefully it should still be fine. It's, if you got a bit of potato. I always wonder who lives in this house. I say it's like every single stream where we come to Aldorf Outskirts, but like, what are you doing? Why? Just live in the city. You're going to get destroyed every time there's an invasion. And you live in the Warhammer universe. There's an invasion every 5 minutes. It looks like the players should be popping in now. Here we go. So for the forces of the mighty Tomb Kings and Legion moving his undead legions into battle, we have Skeleton Warriors and Skeleton Spearmen dotted all the way along the front line. Cheap, cheerful chaff. Not really happy to be here, but not really unhappy either. They're just animated corpses at this point. We have a little hero call. We have Archon the Black coming in with the Purple Sun, as well as Spirit Leech and all his glorious items. Double Tomb Prince on Chariot. Very interesting pick. So these guys lose their anti-large, but do have anti-infantry. Should be able to carve their way through and still work as a relatively decent bodyguard to Arkham. We have Skeleton Horsemen as well into the sunset with some archers. Double your Shopty Greatbow, one of which is the Chosen of the Gods. Always a good pick. And double Tomb Scorpion Legion. Taking a book out of a page out of Leopard's book here. Deciding to go rock and roll and bad to the core. Double Tomb Scorpion, that's some really cool stuff. These guys have arguably one of the best models in the entire game. The way the electric like flows over them, it's just so good. And I don't even really like undead factions in general, and even I must say the Tomb Kings thematically look amazing. So for the forces of Void here and his Bretonnia, we have Peasant Mobs dotted all the way along the front line, Battle Pilgrims and Spearmen at Arms through the centre. We have a Brazilian Peasant Bowman, yeah, look, so many, Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 peasants, and you can have this many peasants. They are different varieties before. I always used to get confused why people brought so many peasant archers, but they're so good here. We have Question Knights mixed in with Knights of the Realm hiding in this forest over on this flank. And it looks like same on the other side. We have Knights of the Realm with more Question Knights. So elite there. And then we have your typical standard Paladin on horseback. Already seen them today, although we did see them lose earlier. Alongside the Fey Enchantress. But looks like only one Paladin. The Fey is going to be coming in with Awakening Woods as well as Earthblood, Chalice of Potions. But we have Gotrek on foot, which is an interesting pick. So it looks like there is one dwarf who still draws breath in Altdorf. And he's going to be okay here as well. Good at taking down the large constructs. He has Heroic Fortitude, which can regenerate for himself. Unbreakable, all that good stuff. Have you ever noticed how creepy those angel statues are, says Legion? Yeah, the angel statues are pretty creepy. They look a little bit like death. Which is, good luck, have fun, lads. They are super creepy. They are pretty creepy. But, I mean, a lot of the architecture in Warhammer tends to be creepy, because it's kind of grimdark, even though that's more of a 40k saying, but it's still, the Warhammer universe isn't exactly a lovely place to be. Who's your money on? Got to go to school? No worries, man. This is the second semi-final, so the first game of the second semi-final. After this, there will be a best-of-5 final as well, but you can always come back and watch this at a later point. Tomb Kings are very stylish. They do. They are very cool indeed. So it looks like the Skeleton Horseman Archers just getting some free value on peasant mobs. Again, not really value because you're killing peasants, which I know is not nice to say for the peasants, but they are here to absorb enemy fire pressure. Now, Legion is very good with his Skeleton Horse Archers in general. I've seen him use them quite before. He's good at darting in and then avoiding the counter skirmish fire. But there's a lot of arrows coming flying in from so many peasants. He's going to struggle a little bit. Fey Enchantress is also charging headlong towards them. Question Knights, as well as these Knights of the Realm, are revealing themselves. They were hidden in the trees, which could be a bit of a mistake, because now Legion has the brilliant opportunity to get these Skeleton Horsemen up and around here through the trees. When these Knights commit, you come pounding down on the Archers, but that's going to need some incredibly patient play. The Shoptic Great Bows are currently unleashing hell upon the enemy. And what are they firing into? Looks like they're shooting some shots all the way up and over, and don't know where those arrows ended up. Didn't look like they did anything there whatsoever. Maybe trying to hit the Fae. Yeah, looks like we've got a few shots actually going after the Fae, which is not the best idea. She's a pretty slippery devil to hunt down. Skeleton Horseman Archers have been dealt with relatively successfully so far, having to pull back. Gotrek is starting to advance at this point. A ton of fire arrows do come into that Tomb Prince, who's going to be falling back. There is a Paladin nearby, and yes, you can 2v1 him, but it's still a little bit of a rough situation. So pulling back to the Skeleton Spearman is a good idea. You can turn and engage now and commit one Skeleton forward to help poke down the Paladin, but I like this. Dragging the Paladin out of position. Tomb Scorpions are going to come in to say hello. Not doing a good job for the Paladin. Charm Shield has come down. And this Paladin is in all sorts of trouble at this moment. Lost a ton of health, but overcomes Gotrek. And of course, we do have Earthblood, although the Paladin has been terrified at this point. If they can break him and chase him off the field, that is a pretty good start there for the Tomb Kings. Skeleton Horse Archers are currently just kiting Question Knights, and in the distance you can see those Skeleton Horsemen they kind of go in the wrong direction. They need to pound back onto these Archers. It looks like the order has now been given. Shows them the God are being hunted down by Peasant Archers. This is a pretty good start to the battle for both of these players. Skeleton Spearmen simply standing against Peasant mobs, neither one's wanting to commit. Do not blame them. Skeleton Spearmen as well are trying to saturate over here. Double Tomb Scorpion just being a menace in the night, which is always good to see these guys in action. And it looks like the Paladin and Gotrek just hunting down those Tomb Princes where possible. They need to stay on their speedy little chariots where possible. Stay away from Gotrek. This is a disaster. Of course, when Gotrek catches you, sometimes the Tomb Princes turn and engage manually. It's not him doing this by himself. It's just like an automatic reaction. Big purple sun going down in the back line. Nearly missed that. On top of the Knights of the Realm. Obliterating so many of them. Doing really nice damage. Some friendly fire as well. But it's a pretty good trade. More Question Knights as well have taken huge damage. Lovely play there in the back by the Tomb Kings. But this other flank is being compromised. Question Knights kind of starting to float in. Big Chalice does come down as well. Looks like some of the Archers have now started to hunt down the Peasant Bowman, and the Paladin has been broken, but one of these units isn't able to chase him off, and he should be able to rampage, come back now, but he is rampaging, which is bad news for him, as he will just go after the nearest target, rather than going after those key pockets of strength. Knights of the Realm have been broken here, as well as these Question Knights. My one worry here is that the Tomb Kings have nothing to chase off all these units they're doing massive damage to. Down here, Spirit Leech does hit the Question Knights. They're taking some massive damage at this point as well. Very close there. Looks like the archers have been dealt with. Needs to pull one of these archers away, though, and start applying pressure to these other units, although the Tomb Scorpion is doing a good job hunting down the Fey Enchantress, and now they're into that cookie jar. Glorious stuff in the back line as these Tomb Scorpions have some really disgusting attack animations, will burrow underground, pop up and explode peasants left, right, and centre, and now in comes that Ushopti summon. To try and cough away from the mic there, sorry about that, guys. And it looks like the Ushopti will be able to pop back onto these peasant archers, and the skeleton horsemen are now coming into the rear, and this is a really bad situation for Bretonnia. They can't even bring any knights over here to support due to the Ushopti, and the skeleton horsemen will crumple at these peasant bowmen with a furious charge. And it looks like the Tomb King's going to be relatively... there's a close fight still, actually. I don't want to say anyone's in the lead. Both Tomb Princes are incredibly beat up at this point. They have managed to force off Quest Knights who are rampaged. That curse is so powerful. The more Quest Knights are returned to the field, however, they're incredibly beat up. Now, if the Tomb Kings can stabilise the Ushopti Great Bows and continue to rain fire in, I think they're in a very solid position. As you can see, these peasant bowmen not having a good time whatsoever. All the units are running for the hills, and if they get shattered, it's probably game over, because double Tomb Scorpions, both very healthy, can bound around the battlefield at free whim once they get rid of these Knights of the Realm, which is easier said than done, but Ushopti Great Bow doing a good job. Ark the Black even committing to the fight as well at this point. Tomb Princes are darting over, just trying to finish off the Quest Knights. Not a bad idea. Yes, they're anti-infantry, but they're still heroes. They still pack a punch. More healing is being applied, however. Skeleton Spearmen are slowly finishing off the Peasant Bowmen. Looks like one unit has been shattered. This unit is being chased down by Skeleton Horsemen. So for the most part, the back line has been mopped up. And the Bretonnians are struggling in the front now. We can see peasants fleeing for their lives. Quest Knights fleeing. Though both Tomb Princes somehow still alive. Tomb Scorpions doing a good job on this Paladin as well. Just tag teaming him. Once again, yes, they're anti-infantry, but two heavy hitters. It doesn't matter what that little tooltip tells you. And unfortunately for Void, he did let Gotrek get a little distracted. He decided to go hunt down Archon, and because of this, now the Paladins have taken huge damage. But this is big. If Legion doesn't spot this, doesn't spot that Gotrek's here, but it looks like he does. Beautiful play. Just pull out the Scorpions. There's no need to engage this. Get all your heavy hitters out of here. Get your Tomb Princes out of here. Engage with those cheap units. Oh, Skeleton Warriors took massive damage there, but so did Battle Pilgrims. It looks like he's going in for the kill here, which is can be worthwhile. It's just it's a little bit scary of Gotrek in there as well, but Faye has been terrified and forced off, and yeah, that's going to be game. The back line, there's just simply no saving this for Bretonnia. Those peasant bowmen will be hunted down by the horse archers. Looks like they're trying to focus them down, but there's so many skeletons spinning around to apply pressure to them, and it looks like, for the most part, the Faye has been dealt a killing blow nearly. Paladin at this point as well is suffering, and Void is going to bow out. Amazing game there. That was an amazing game. That was some top-tier, scary stuff. I hope you're watching, Leopard, because you're going to have to fight one of these guys. And they put on an impressive display, very fearsome. But again, so did Leopard early on as well. Void Lords, very impressive stuff still. The Fae, 21,000 damage dealt. She is disgustingly powerful. But only 1.4k damage value, so not the craziest there, but 168 kills is nice. Biggest problem for him was not keeping his hero core together. Gotrek got distracted a few times. You can't blame him. He's trying to fulfill his Slayer oath, but not stacking on top of the Paladin and the Fae allowed them to get assassinated. And the Peasant Bowman as well got shut down relatively effectively. Knights did good work in the back, but again, nothing crazy on the value chart. And that, in the end of the day, is what's going to matter here in this battle. As for Legion, beautiful play with this unit of Skeleton Horsemen, getting them wrapped around the flank, 119 kills. Managed to shut down like half the Peasant Bowline single-handedly. Good play by his Skirmish Cav all round. Double Tomb Scorpion, an inspired pick, 1k damage value here, 1.2 there. And Ushopti did okay job, although Void did do pretty well as well at shutting them down. And the Tomb Princess got some nice value, 1,000 here, 666 here. Oh, mark of the devil, this Tomb Prince. Getting some good work despite the early pressure. Archon as well, that big fat purple sum was epic there. GG, well played. Next map is Toothgrass Hill. Let's find it. Hopefully it doesn't bug out. I know this has bugged out up here before. Toothgrass Hill. Up next. If it bugs out, we'll just rehost and just not do that map. Yeah, once the Brazilian archers just kind of got crumped, it was game over because they needed them to focus fire down all the characters, but also those big scary Tomb Scorpions. Otherwise, their animations make them real slippery. Heart and money on Void, says Lunacy. Well, unfortunately, Void is one down now, but he's certainly got the potential to come back here. Who here wants Amazons for Warhammer 3? Need those Brazilian peasant archers. Oh. I do actually want the Amazons to be in the game. They may be a free DLC at some point, but it'd be hard to integrate them onto the new map, I'd think. So Void is going greenskins, banning Vampire Counts and Lizardmen. Again, 2 good bans. Legion is going to counterpunch with Skaven, arguably the 2 best in the meta, at least, so quote-unquote best, in the game factions, I would say. Skaven number 1, greenskins number 2. But again, you know, it's all interpretation. Legion's ready. He's strapped in. He's got a build. He's not messing around. He knows exactly what he's doing, it would seem. Yeah, that was the first battle of the second semi-final. And if you guys are enjoying, by the way, feel free to hit that big old thumbs up button. It really actually helps push out the stream to more people. Go tell your nan about the stream. I'm sure she'll love it. Go and all that good stuff. But yeah, feel free to give it a big old thumbs up button. You can subscribe as well, and you get Total War Warhammer content every single day. It's awesome. When we starting to do a new series as well called 60-second strategies, where I'll be going over a strategy in 60 seconds and just bring it to you guys. I'm going to do the normal format. I know there's this big weird thing with YouTube at the moment with shorts, but you have to have the screen as if it's for a phone, and I don't know, I don't think it makes as good content. So I'm going to try and keep it as top quality as possible. Will be a fun race pack if you have the Southern Realms, Araby, and a Maxons. Yeah, man, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I'd like to see the Border Princes and Tillia and so forth come in. Oh man, if we get Warp Throwers, Legion can't stunt on us like that, surely. If he does, that would be amazing. Yeah, that was a close one, Danny, for sure. You can't get much closer than that. That was some wild stuff. That was scary. But here we are, Toothgrass Hill, which is, of course, this hill. There's loads of grass on it. No teeth, though, which is a little disappointing. But I suppose the teeth may be the pyramids in the distance. Lizardmen architecture is so goddamn bad. That's just like futuristic Aztec vibe going on. I believe in the end times actually turn into spaceships or something ridiculous, but we don't like to talk about the end times too much. There was 1 or 2 cool things happening in end times, but for the most part, it was pretty trash. At least what I've heard. I haven't delved into it. My childhood won't let me. But I know they are rebooting Fancy. They're just going back in time a little bit. Yeah, there's a load of minor southern human realms they could bring into the fold. Which at some point I could see. Dogs of War as well, I think, are going to be a DLC at some point. Dogs of War are going to be very exciting. So let's have a little drink before we start. So guys, the second semi-final, who will seal the deal, or will it go all the way? Let's have a little look at the build. So for the forces of Skaven and Legion trying to claw his way into the finals, up against Leopard, we have Skaven Slaves, plotted in the front line. Again, cheap, very uncheerful chaff, just there to hold back the enemy and obviously make him a slower approach. We have double Plague Claw Catapult, which I'm sure will be moved forward in a second. Gracia of Plague. We have a Packmaster as well on a Brute Horror. Brute Horrors in particular are very nasty at the moment. They're just so fast and pretty hard hitting, and a little bit tricky to pin in and kill. The leader is going to come with Arcane Conduit, Vermintide. We have the dreaded 13th spell. Oh yes, we're going to have to look out for that one. Unholy Clamour and Scorch there. So going for a nice little range focus build so far. For the rest of the build, it is Clan Rats into the Sunsets with more Clan Rats with Spears, Guts Runners with Poison, Poison Wind Mortars, of course, the best unit in the game, Wolf Rats with Poison, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 Rat Ogres. Scary build, really good stuff. The one thing he has to worry about with only 1 unit of Mortars is we're most likely to see Spirit Leech on the side of the greenskins to really force them off, and that's just what we see, it would seem. So we have Forest Goblin Spider Riders mixed in with Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, and yeah, more on that flank as well, so lovely about Skirmish Cav. We have Forest Goblin Spider Riders on the load of riders basically throughout. Moon Howlers, oh, we have the Regiment Round Goblin Wolf Riders, you don't see these guys ever. So the Moon Howlers actually cause fear, which is really funny for some reason, but yeah, they're pretty cool, they're pretty badass as well. We do have double Giant Ruachol Hag. One, of course, is going to be coming in with no spells. Interesting. So just trying to stack the Myva and the Overwhelming Odor. The other one, of course, with the Spirit Leech. And you're going to see him instantly target those mortars with the Spirit Leech. His main battle line is just cheap, cheerful goblins. We've got some Night Goblins in the middle as well. Looks like the 8 Peak Loons. And a load of Stone Trolls saturated on top. So good stuff. And we have Grom on his Mighty Chariot. Grom is a not too pretty, I would say, looking guy, but his little goblin on top certainly is, and he's looking like he's just having a whale of a time. He does remind me from the guy from Mad Max. He's going to bring Axe of Grom, Lucky Banner, and Degrayton is here. Really fun stuff. I expect the Greenskins to probably not push through their main force. He's simply going to skirmish as much as possible and try to Spirit Leech down the mortars before engaging his main threat, but that is a little risky because the catapults are here as well. Cool. Good luck, have fun, guys. So drop a wah in chat or a snickering Skaven noise, depending on who you want to win. The end times do not exist. I agree, Aristo, I agree. Yeah, I think the Dogs of War will come at some point. I like that they're spaceships. The spaceship thing's kind of funny. What's up to Henowin, the Red Host, aka A-Move, the God Hacker? How's it going? You've made in time for the second semi-finals. Play called Catapult's Army unleashing some early volleys into the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, actually catching them here. And funny enough, this does actually apply a debuff of Contaminated, -10 leadership. Of course, good up against Greenskins, who do lack a certain amount of leadership throughout. So it looks like he's moving advancing it, taking it the hill here on a real slow approach for the most part. These guys are literally walking forward. I don't think I ever move my troops and walk, and I probably should, but I'm too excited to get into the battle. And he's simply going to be slowly kiting, not kiting, but moving up his skirmishers to engage. The forces of Skaven are just vibing at the moment, hiding here at the back. Really nice play by Legion here, actually. So he's going to take the Poison One mortars. He recognises the threat straight away from these Patrol Hags, and he's just going to fall back to the trees. No need to engage them. Going to advance with the rest of his force instead. Get those Plague Core Catapults into position, and ready to strike down at the heart of the enemy. And yeah, leave the Poison Wind Moors. Save them for the end. There's nothing your Spirit Leeches can do to hurt me if I'm out of range. Now, of course, Spirit Leeches can be dropped on the Plague Core Catapults, but if it's being used up on other targets, he doesn't have to worry too much then about his little mortars. Greenskin forces slowly advancing, and it looks like they're actually going to be taking some shots to the face of this giant River Hag. She won't mind, she has regeneration, and it's probably just that they were on fire at will. Gutter Runners are slowly moving up as well. They need to be a little careful, because Grom is lurking, and Grom can run them over underfoot. Now, we have an overcast Spirit Leech coming in, because the giant River Hag has taken some damage, and it is going down on the Plague Claw Catapult. Not a terrible idea at all. Those catapults are currently still going after the giant River Hag, which isn't going to do too much good. Greenskins are still advancing. I'm going to keep an eye, make sure that both the guys are aware of the attacking role. Now, of course, the Skaven are shooting their artillery pieces, so that is absolutely fine. And the Greenskins are advancing as well. Plague Claw Catapult is now switching targets after those Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers. Looks like Void is well on top of his micro at this point, though, darting back and forth. We're going to have a really long skirmish phase here. Gutter Runners have revealed themselves, looking to get some cheeky value on the Giant Ritual Hag. Grom is having none of it, though, going to be able to chase them down, although he does get hit by a ton of pebbles. Of course, he has regeneration, but over the course of the battle, it will add up. Packmaster is lurking, just waving to Grom, letting him know, I know that you know that I know I'm here, and protecting those Gutter Runners with him. The Roto Hag's taking huge damage from the Gutter Runners, actually, who are going to stand and fight this, which they definitely don't want to do. They need to pull back, but they can do some really big burst damage on him. Now it looks like the catapults are in range of the goblins, doing some really nice work on them. And that River Hag gets punted by the Packmaster, just slaps them around before deciding to fall back. Now he doesn't really want to engage with this many stone trolls away from friendly forces. And it looks like a Mival was popped on the Gutter Runners. Lovely catch by Void. Really well played there. Looks like there's a summon coming down to try and rescue them. But they could well be done from there. His best counter-skirmishing tool, as all the greenskins are starting to wrap around this flank and lurk. Poison Wind Mortars are now in effect, firing down at these Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers, doing some nice damage to them. 8-Peak Loons are going crazy and swinging through the enemy formation. Packmaster is on top of Grom the Paunch. Lucky Banner has been popped though, so probably wants to dart out of there for now. Stone Trolls starting to engage along the main battle line. Poor little Goblin's not going to have the best day, though, under a lot of pressure so far from the artillery. Skaven Slaves taking a little bit of damage. It looks like the Moon Howlers as well be trying to dodge the Skaven Slaves. They're very quick, these guys, coming in with 92 speed, could wrap up and around and in very quickly. The Gutter Runners have managed to pull back to safety, and this Goblin front line's not going to fare too well. Stone Trolls are going toe-to-toe with Rat Ogres, which is a pretty awesome affair, just warp stone against gigantic stone clubs. Always epic to see, but the Rat Ogres certainly going to need help here where possible. It looks like the front line are going really badly for the greenskins, at least in the form of goblins, but again, they're cheap, they're cheerful. And oh no! Legion's Packmaster got caught by Miva, so it couldn't escape and is being forced off. Now, it should be able to rally and hopefully come back here, and it looks like it does just about manage to get away there from some of those stone trolls. Very close game so far in the back line. Gutter Runners trying to pin in the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, slowing them down with that Poison Land. The Skaven Slaves to hop on top of it. Unholy Clamour is active. In the distance, we do have Wolf Rats as well, just chasing off a shattered unit of Moon Howlers. They do need to come back, though. And the Poison Wind Mortars. This is a really key unit. If he can keep these guys active and alive, he should be in good shape, but it's can you protect the back line? We do have a summon of Clan Rats down here. as well as a Scorch going down, doing some nice work. Packmaster has returned, bounding after those Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers, but needs to fall back to the main fight where he can really help out. The War is active, and they're certainly doing a good job. It looks like the Storm Vermin were summoned. I did hear the bells tolling, and they got 24 kills saturated in here, mainly up against goblins though, although some of the trolls have been forced back, maybe? Oh no, they're just simply disengaging, chasing off rat ogres. Things looking very good for the greenskins, but it is still on the knife edge. A lot of these troops need to come in and protect these troops, but it looks like the catapults may be shut down and the poison wind mortars, which is very scary stuff, but never count out the Skaven. They are crumping this flank, goblins going underneath the mighty claws of the rat ogres, and this unit should be able to rally. We have wolf rats yet to come back into the fray, but so many stone trolls, what can man do against, or what can rat do against such crazy stone trolls? Not too much, it would seem, as the Greyseer is now pinned in against his own artillery piece, which is a real bad time for him. He's actually really struggling to escape there, which is not good, but that attack animation may get him a little bit loose and free here. Poison Mortars continue to rain in fire down onto these archers, and despite the fact they were forced away from most of the game, let's have a see, they are up to 8 kills already, and nearly 500 damage value, not too bad considering how much of the game they did miss, but nothing insane from them yet. We do have more rat ogres and clan rats dotted around the battlefield who do need to come back and help support, but again, it's far easier seeing that from up here on my lofty duck perch than it is while you're microing in-game. Greyseer trying to escape, but that Mither is a real pain in the butt. Gutter runners with poison are unleashing shot after shot into the stone trolls, trying to slow them down to allow the Greyseer to escape. But I think this is going to be that's all she wrote. There's not too much left for the Skaven forces, at least in punch variety, to break down the stone trolls. They're going to be regenerating this entire time as well. Gutter runners are slowly getting clumped. We have a few rat ogres, but that's not enough, especially if Void keeps these troops together. It looks like he learned from the mistake of the previous game, where he split up all his powerful troops, instead keeping them together at this point, and just slowly rolling his way through the Skaven forces. Greyseer has been hit by a Spirit Leech as well, which isn't a good job for him. Mortars are done for. We do have a Scorch coming down the line, a little bit mistimed. It does do some damage though, roasts a few of these spiders, but that is looking like army losses to me. Balance power falling more and more in favour of the greenskin forces. Wolf rats are charging into glorious combat after the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, trying to scrap his way back into the game. A load of troops rallying to the cause as well, but this pocket of stone trolls is just so scary. Greyseer is darting, bobbing, weaving, trying to do the 5Ds of dodgeball, but the Grom at the paunch is hunting him down. Grom is rather fast on his chariot, and that is going to be game. So we are going all the way to the third game of this second best of 3. And we will be going on to the finals. Mither is so strong. Yeah, that was scary. Yeah, this is the problem. I agree, Viking. People have with Raugers. Yes, they're bonus versus, or they're anti-large, or bonus versus large, whatever it is. They need the charge, though. They are very squishy. If you charge them, even with, like, knights, you can do so much damage. Grom, absolute powerhouse, 101 kills, 8.5k damage dealt, 1,200 damage value. Again, the Ritual Hags did good as well. 1,100 damage value on this one, 900 here. Goblins ahead dialed, 8-peak loons got 158 kills and had an all-round good time. The Spider Riders did pretty decent. Some of them did get shut down because of good play by Legion, but others managed to rack up okay kills and pressure on the back line. But it really was the, you just can't kill Grom and the free Stone Trolls. That was the idea of Void's build, and it worked rather well. As for Legion, I do love the 20 stack. It's always good fun to see. The catapults, though, really struggled because all they could shoot was goblins, and then the catapults aren't really too good against everything else. Rat Ogres also suffered quite badly as well because they didn't get the charge. Poison Wind Mortars still somehow got 600 damage value and nearly 7,000 damage dealt, despite the fact there's nothing on here that they're particularly good against, and they missed for most of the game, but good play by them. I love the idea of pulling them back in the beginning. The Gutter Runners as well did relatively solid, but the Greyseer, Packmaster, everything else kind of suffered a little bit. GG. Yes. Void picks 3 and bans 1. And the map shall be Tower of Hoeth. Here's the map. Excellent stuff. Let's go over to... Someone check something quickly. Because I do have a message. Sorry, someone sent me a Steam message. Sorry, someone just sent me a message. Is there a rule break? What was the rule break? I'll check Discord. So guys, just starting with a possible rule break in that game. I'm waiting on someone who was watching to get back to me. It seemed fine. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So, Aristodemos sent me a message on Steam saying, oh, we have a rule break. I didn't know it was Aristodemos because his name was changed. Go to Discord. And he's like, oh, hey, man, there was a rule break. Gotta talk to you about it. And it's like, you've just been trolled. You've just been trolled. Live on stream by Aristodemos. Cool, looks like Void is just thinking about his options. Let's update the scoreboard while I remember. I'm going to get you back, Aristo. I'm just going to update the scores as well quickly for Leopard in his bracket, because I don't think those guys entered them in. So let's pop them through there and change the scoreboard. So Void has scrapped it back, much like Unreal did in the first semi-final heat. And it is 1-1. All the marbles still to play for. So Void picks 3 and bans 1. Legion picks and bans 1 of the 3. Then Void picks from his last 2. Cool. Let's have a little drink. Yeah, today was I see you. I see your little coffee. Coffee just chilling. Do you still host the coffee tournaments with the bad maps? I hope so. So Void is going Wood Elves, Lizardmen, Vampire Counts, banning High Elves. Now I'm a big fan of Wood Elves and Lizardmen, so I'd like to see both of them in action, so hopefully the Vampire Counts get banned. Legion, very good with all the undead factions. I could honestly see him going Vampire Counts here, banning Wood Elves. And if you want the mirror, like, I don't know if anyone wants that. But Lizardmen... Oh, ban Vampire Counts, pick Vampire Counts. So he's not scared of Wood Elves. Now, Wood Elves have a really disgusting Air Force tactics you can use up against Vampire Counts, but they, like, Vampire Count mains have figured it out a little bit. They do have a version of Tempest, and Vampire Counts players are so good against Lizardmen. Like, it's a horrendous matchup for your average player, but if you've mained a faction for so long, you tend to get really good at those type of matchups, and they just out-blob or out-grind the Lizardmen forces. But it looks like we are going to be seeing Wood Elves versus Vampire Counts. This should be really interesting. It's mass mobility versus pretty much no mobility from the forces of Legion here. And this map is heavily populated by forests, but of course Legion's just going to deploy on the far left side and make it a fight in the open field. He is probably going to have to bring their version of Tempest. I forget what it's called, because Sisters of Twilight here are absolutely disgusting. You can bring them and like triple Hawk Riders. This is scary. Helm Gorse Mirror. Yes, yes. And Legion has builds prepared, it would seem. So if Void's played him before, he might know what his builds are. That's the downside of having pre-built builds. But it looks like he's ready and he's practiced this before. But I do like the picks and bans from both players here. So who do you think is going to make it through to the final? And do you think that they can take it down the mighty Leopard? I'm interested to see. I don't know if anyone's heard any more news either about the Warhammer TV shows and stuff they're doing. I know they're doing an Eisenhorn, which is 40k, and they're mainly predominantly focusing on 40k stuff at the moment. Hopefully if it's popular, and then rebooting Warhammer Fantasy, I'm hoping that in the future we can get some Warhammer Fantasy TV shows going, which would be really good. Master of Beast on the Von Carstein Lord. Thank you. I'm assuming, Hank, that is the Tempest. Which is just needed. I don't think you have an option here. I think you have to bring it, just to cover your base. I mean, the Wood Elves may go something completely different. Durfu's very powerful here, for example. Sword of Dave with Flock of Doom stacked on top of it. That will churn its way through a lot of your troops very quickly. But again, yeah, I'm sure Legion has also thought of all this stuff. Always love to see my counts win. Well, we saw counts early on as well perform pretty good. So hopefully we get to see some more counts action. You'd be a big fan of Poison Ducky. He's a very talented vampire count player. And also a member of DBD. We need to get some other clan wars rolling at some point relatively soon as well. There's just so many tournaments going on. So we'll be live streaming tomorrow as well, most likely. It depends on what it's going to be. It kind of depends. So there's a good chance I'm going to be playing in a tournament, in which case I'll just stream my point of view from the tournament, I guess. But at the same time, I may stream instead my Warhammer World Championship games. As I've played 5 of my 9 group games now. Or 5, technically I played 10 games, but you play each player twice. And it's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. I think we're definitely on track to qualify and go into the future. But it's just at kind of what level. We had some amazing games up against Guac. Guac is a really talented player who's brings on normally some like really crazy, interesting builds. I remember him going really far in was it ECL, I want to say. I think he qualified for one, bringing like the best stuff, playing really cool. So playing against him was very, very fun. And here we are, the Tower of Hoeth. Much like Aldorf Outskirts, the Empire were hiding behind their trees and their walls. The High Elves shall do the same. No creepy little gargoyles outside of their place, however, those angels. We just have some High Elf swordsmen. And you can actually vanguard a unit in here, which is always a really funny tactic to do. Just pop some, like, I don't know, hounds or reavers or whatever in this little pocket, and then when the main fight does engage, you just kind of plop out or pour out and kind of ambush the enemy. A lot of this map is dominated by trees. I especially expect Void to try and take advantage of this, being tree men, but at the same time, I don't think Legion's going to be having any of it. He's just going to deploy over on this left side with his counts and force the fight into the middle. Dota is getting an anime from Netflix. Maybe Warhammer gets one too. Way more lore. You're gonna hate me. I have heard Dota so many times. What does that stand for again? I do know it, but I can't think off the top of my head. What's Dota? I should know. But yeah, I can certainly see them. So they're getting an animated 40k show. They're doing multiple animated 40k shows. Some of them, the animation design I'm not a big fan of, but other ones looked really cool. There was one with the Eldar. They had some Strike and Scorpions who looked badass, so hopefully we'll see them. And it is going to be the classic Air Force from the Wood Elves, which is to be expected in this build. But likewise, we have Yvonne Carstein Vampire Lord, so he shall be prepared. Up on his Mighty Blood Dragon, he's going to be coming in here with the Storm of the Night. It's basically Tempest. So that's going to be very useful up against the enemy. Void has to spread out his troops, his Hawk Riders. If he bunches them together, it's game over. He's also coming Raised Dead, Invocation of Mahek, and Pestilence Breath, of course. For the rest of the Air Corps here, we have triple Fellbats as well as another Terrorgeist. We have a couple of Hounds as well to chase down Archers. Double Blood Knights, very powerful units. We've seen them perform really well so far anyway. Can trade very effectively with a lot of Knights. I really love their shield design of that Black Dragon. Looking very cool. Of course, anti-large, good against everything that the Wood Elves can bring to the table. The main battle line, we do have a mixture, it would seem, of zombies, as well as crypt ghouls. Don't get to see these little golems very often. They look absolutely horrendous, but they do pretty decent damage to lightly armored troops, and of course they are up against the Wood Elves, the masters of the glass cannon. For the Wood Elf forces, again, a lot of the force is simply going to be hiding back here in these trees for now, in a little death box. Which is a thing. Eternal Guard, Wardens of Sifril here as well, and Ariel. She herself will, of course, bring Tempest. It's going to be a battle of the Tempests. She has Apotheosis, Soul Stealer, Aeon of Ages, as well as Berry Wine. And then we have Hawk Riders, Glade Riders, as well as the Sisters of Twilight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If any of this stuff dies, he's going to have to leave that forest, is the problem. Cool, let the guys know, good luck, have fun. Yeah, anime is cheap and less risky. We are using banner rules, but I think you're allowed to have half your unit in the forest, or half your army. It's like you're not, I think the rules state, like, word by word, like you're not allowed the majority or something of your force. But let me know. If he has to move that completely, I can message him, because it's not going to affect the start of the battle. So Fellbats do take some early shots from the Sisters of Twilight, who are on their Mighty Dragon here. They do not have Conjoined Destiny, which I do not blame for them. Yeah, we have Hawk Rise up in the air as well. I don't think I mentioned all this, because I was distracted by the glorious box we have hiding in the trees. It looks like it is going to be an absolute kite fest. So Sisters of Twilight doing some damage to the Von Karstein Lord. But he's simply going to fall back. And one big boon that the vampires have here is they just have so much healing. And the Fellbats are really cheap. They can muck up Hawk Riders. And in comes the first Tempest. So these Hawk Riders have been caught by this. The Sisters did manage to avoid it, but they've taken big damage here. And it looks like he is going in for the kill with the Fellbats. Now they're going to be trying to fall back to their forces. It's just no forest camping. Okay. I'll have to look up the rules afterwards. We'll either have to play the game again, or... Well, we'll see how it goes. But if he loses a couple of units... But I'm pretty sure it says, like, you can't have the majority of your force, like, hidden in a forest or something. But you are allowed to, put units in a forest. That's not against the rules. So it looks like the Glade Riders and Hawk Riders are poking in, doing a little bit of damage to the zombies, as well as the Glade Riders as well. But again, zombies, it's not going to do too much work to them. We do have an Apotheosis coming down on the Hawk Riders as well now. So both these guys are just going to be using up their magic, healing and tempesting each other, which is going to be pretty poor. It's not really going to go anywhere, basically, for ages. But at the same time, it is wasting ammunition on the Wood Elves' side. So I think the Vampire Council probably get an advantage in this long, grindy engagement. Yes, it is illegal. You can't sit in a forest with the intent of it. Okay. Void, you must leave forest. Cool. Thank you for the heads up. I mean, he would have just sat here, in fairness, so the battle wouldn't have obviously gone anywhere different so far. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. They keep changing the rules, so... Let's see if he moves. Yeah, all this is literally going to make him do is go here. So it's not going to change anything, at least for the start. But yeah, it is pretty sketchy play there. So the Von Karstein Lord is going to be darting, bobbing, and weaving. And again, it looks bad for the Vampire Counts because they, of course, take more damage on the initial trades. Once all these Hawk Riders are out of ammunition, they're not going to be super useful. They can, of course, cycle charge and the like. Sisters of the Twilight are floating forward. Now they're going to be trying to focus down Blood Knights, perhaps, which is a good way of doing it. Although maybe going after this Terrorgeist as well isn't the worst idea. Von Karstein Vampire Lord is simply going to wait as well at this point for the right opportunities to drop down those big Tempests. Fellbats have swarmed one of the Hawk Riders. A big fat Tempest coming down here would be nice, but it looks like 2 units were caught instead by the Storm of the Night. Both these units taking massive damage, and now in come the Fellbats. It doesn't matter how much healing you have. If you break, the Fellbats will chase you off the field. Hawk Riders not having a good time whatsoever. Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips are charging in to try and save the situation. No, the Fellbats are pulling back. Don't pull back. Engage, engage. It looks like some zombies have been summoned on the Glade Riders to try and put them in place, and all round so far, Legion is dealing relatively well with the air pressure, but this is a disaster. Terrorgeist is going toe-to-toe with the Sisters of Twilight. If he switches them onto their burst fire mode rather than single shot, it does disgusting damage in close range, and you wouldn't think it does because it's not meant to be used against single entities, but because every shot hits from point-blank range, it's really scary. And this could be game over for the Void right now if these Sisters cannot escape this. Terrorgeist is doing some good work. Fellbats as well, just bogging it down all round, although Hawk Riders are here to support, which is a nice saving grace. Good play there to keep these guys alive. And it looks like Void has managed to keep all his Hawk Riders alive and not have to use too much magic. Apotheosis isn't the most expensive spell. And it looks like we're getting Invocation Hex as well on the Fellbat. So this is the ultimate learning curve here in Skirmish. I believe all games should start from meme, says Alric Roll. I think a meme every game isn't isn't too bad. Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips fire into Fellbats, and the Fellbats simply pull back at this point. Hawk Riders just vibing at the moment, taking a ton of damage. We do have that spread shot now going down after the Skeleton Warriors as well as the Terrorgeist. So the spread shot, though, you want to be right next to the Terrorgeist, and then it will do the huge damage. From the long range like this, you definitely need single shot. Now, of course, the Wood Elf forces can recover their health, but they can't recover their ammo. These guys down to about half health at this point. They're slowly pushing forwards once more with the Riders. And all around though, I think Legion is handling the situation pretty well up against the Air Corps, as is Void. I mean, like, obviously not too much going on down here, and I'm guessing he's actually brought her... So this is like the only time I've ever seen this in action, which is... Ugh. Go for it. It is the Blessing of the Ancients, so she's actually working as a bit of a power battery here because she can afford on this map to hide in the forest. Hawk Riders have caught themselves in a bit of a tricky situation here. Not a big fan of this. Looks like they are going to get an Apotheosis. They could lose a lot of models. Oh, and it's got a big Tempest play coming in. I love that from Void. Coming in with the Tempest, trying to catch the Terrorgeist. But he's going to counterpunch with a Tempest of his own. And I don't know what that caught there. It seems like whatever it was managed to escape somehow. I'm not sure how that did indeed work. But the Terrorgeist Invocation Heck could be going down, and that could be an absolute a disaster here for Legion if he loses that Terrorgeist straight out of the gate. And it looks like it is going to be going down, leaving the Von Carstein Vampire Lord, who has been hit with a Soul Stealer there, to weep over his fallen brethren. And it looks like the Felbat's not doing too bad. I think the Hawk Riders have gone down as well. The rest of this build is slowly walking forward, and you'd think it would eventually be able to grind down the Wardens and Eternal Guard box, which of course would force the rest of these forces to come forward. But Ariel is going to be a tough cookie to break. What else must it... I mean, yeah, that was super, though. Like, come on. I don't think anyone has any complaints about that, Alric. So Hawk Riders fighting up against Felbats. Felbats are going to be forced off at this point. They are trying to be held up by an Invocation of the Heck and just sacrifice their lives here up against the Hawk Riders. And the Sisters of Twilight are now engaging the Von Carstein Vampire Lord. He may want to turn and engage this at the moment while the Hawk Riders are distracted. But a lot of the air core has been lost at this point by the Vampire Count's forces. So they are struggling a little bit. Felbats, though, Invocation of the Heck has kept them alive and active. Hawk Riders nearly out of ammunition. They can certainly surround the Vampire Carstein Lord, though, and with the Sisters, and drag him down. They do some really nice AP on the charge. Glade Riders are unleashing shots into the Blood Knights, who certainly need to get active. The rest of the Vampire Count's build now needs to take the initiative and start just crumping at this little box down here because they've lost the air game, and the Von Carstein Lord's probably gone at this point. Now, all these Hawk Riders are making one mistake. If he has that big Tempest ready on Overcast, that could be 3 dead units straight away, and all of a sudden this turns the game around for Legion, but at the moment he is really suffering quite badly here. The zombies and Crypt Ghouls are slowly coming in for the big fat surround. We have Blood Knights as well moving their way through the forest. They might want to surround Alarielle and start poking her down where possible. But if this Von Carstein Lord goes down, I really can't see a way for Legion to win this game, which is a shame. It's not been a particularly good game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Just being like air cheese versus air cheese, but it's what to be expected in this matchup. Von Carstein Vampire Lord still flying away at this point. It looks like the Sisters are going to be abandoning the chase, although doing a lovely parting shot there as the Vampire Lord does flee. But we need a Tempest. We need it now if he is going to survive. But I think it looks like he's crumbling, and that's probably going to be game, honestly. Yeah, Legion bows out. That was a pretty sweaty game. That was a bad game, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'll really look at the rules, but I mean, it didn't decide the start. Yeah, right, you can't. No one wants to see like Wood Elf box in Forest, though, do they? So I don't blame it. I agree though. Wood Elf's fighting Forest is thematic and good and stuff, but yeah, that was what it was. Yeah, he came out of the forest though. Like the game wouldn't have gone any different. The zombies were still slowly wandering forward. So, we have Mr. Leopard on the approach now. So let's pop him in and send him a little message. Where are you, Leopard? Hey, bud. You are up now. Password the same. Yeah, I know people don't like to watch those games, but technically, you know, it is what it is. It's what you're going to do as well as in that matchup. So let's change the scores down. Close 4 game though. Legion taking the initial lead, and then Void managing to fight back there in the last 2 games. So let's reset their scores both to 0. Keep Void there, and we are introducing... Oh, Mr. Leopard is back. There we go, and this is a best of 5 finals. Yo, yo. Maps are Pillar of Bone, Gorgazan, Alpine Ridge. Actually, we're going to switch these ones around, I think. Orgum Shard and Blue Reach River. Go, just so they know all the maps in advance. And we will go Pillar of Bone. Yeah, the aerial blob is just like common anyway. Yo, Legion, this is the thing, like I asked him to pull them out the forest. Because you wouldn't have been able to get there anyway in the time, so it didn't change the battle at all, I don't think. You were still advancing, and then he did pull them back. But yeah, he couldn't stay in the forest, but I told him not to, and he came out in the end. But yeah, it's a terrible tactic, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a good tactic, obviously, but it's not obviously the funnest stuff. I really like what else, but you played a good Torment Legion, honestly. Yeah, you have to take the land fight, but he came out like of the forest. You could just keep advancing. But again, he's just going to hide at the back of the map with his little box, so it's kind of tough for you. Like, he's literally just going to do what he did in the end, just like lurk on the edge of the forest, just with a little Doom box, then fight skirmish game against you. Which is how Wood Elves play it. Let's see who picks and bans first. So let's update the bracket. And it is Void to pick and ban first. Oriel's pretty powerful. I think the main problem with her is her hitbox. She's actually hard to kill. She is still super expensive. To get her value back with the toolkit you often bring with her is actually pretty tough. But yeah, it's the fact that she can't be sniped kind of thing. And she should still be tanky, but if she's going to be as powerful as she is, she needs a points increase. But apart from that, she's just a bit of a beast. He is going to go Greenskins, ban Vampire Counts, and Lizardmen, which is something we saw a little bit early on as well. Lizardmen just destroy Greenskins rather nicely. Cool, just check my Discord, make sure we had no questions. And we can hop back in. Yeah, no, again, it makes a huge difference. My only counter argument to that Legion is he just leaves the forest, so you needed just to continue the assault, which I think your troops were moving anyway. By the time I gave him the order to come out of the forest, so I don't know if it would have changed anything. Maybe it would have, man, but it didn't look like it. But yeah, of course, you need to win the land fight and just kind of kite the air, well, not kite the air game, but just distract the air game long enough that you win the ground fight, and then your opponent's forced to land, and by that point you've had it. But you played an awesome game, man, honestly. That was a real tough one, and you played pretty good throughout the whole event anyway. So looking forward to seeing you back in the future. So Leopard, though, is going to be going for the Warriors of Chaos here. We've seen him use them rather effectively so far, and he does have a good rock and roll build. Now, it's going to be a tough matchup because Greenskins definitely have an upper hand in the skirmish game here, which could be a big problem. We've seen Void does love his skirmish, so he may just try to kite the Chaos Forces into the Shadow Realm, I suppose. But yeah. But I mean, you're still taking damage in the Air Legion, so you still need to drop the invocation. I don't know, bro. Maybe. I'll look back at it afterwards, maybe. No, but yeah, okay, whatever. It is what it is. I've spoken about it, so. Hitboxes are really a really big problem, for sure. Leopard is a pretty big master of Warriors of Chaos Blackthorn, I do agree. But it's going to be tough still regardless. Greenskins are, I believe, one of the best factions in the game. I'd probably say number 2 at the moment. So they're relatively tough to do with all round. Let's have a little hop in here. Cool, no, we're all good. We're all good. So I just made sure challenge was all nice and updated. Have a little sip of my drink as well to stay alive. Big fat stretch as well. What kind of tactics would you guys like, by the way, in the 60-second strategy videos? I was saying Crossfire to start with. Of course, they've got to be pretty basic tactics all round. Things like Flank Overload, Crossfire, I'm not sure what it's called, but like pulling back your front line and then cycle charging with cavalry and all that good stuff. But I'd like to know what you guys would like to see content-wise for it. The small map may help Chaos. Small maps are always good for Chaos in general. Leopard seems to be a pretty good rush player all round with the factions we've seen him use so far. Very good micro as well, though, so certainly will test at the greenskins. It wasn't 2-0 for Void. Oh, you think this is a best of 5 finals, I'm afraid. So it's if it's 2-0, that means nothing. It is free. It is what it is. I understand people getting upset, Jorah. I don't mind. It's cool. But yeah. I'll look back at the video afterwards. I don't think him waiting in the forest for the first like minute before he got told to move would have made a difference, because he's still at the exact same. He's literally just moving his troops like a couple of meters to the side, and you still have to engage for all the flying troops and stuff, but I won't speak about it anymore. Hammer and Anvil could be a good idea as well. That is an old school classic. I mean, that's just a war fin all round. But Hammer and Anvil could work well. Flank overloads are, again, Alexander the Great kind of popularised them, although they were used before as well quite often. They could be quite fun. Surrounding a larger army with a smaller army as well, but that might be tricky to do in 60 seconds. So the idea is that all the videos will be 60 seconds long. Either way, it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. It's fine. The push on one flank, pull on the other one tactic. Yeah, that works quite well. That's actually a really good, like, rotation. Actually, to stop flank overload. If someone's trying to overload, for example, your right flank, what you do is you simply rotate your left side, pull your right flank back, and their flank overload literally just becomes a normal frontal charge by that point. Or you, in fact, hit their weaker side, because they put all their heavy ones on the other side. And you can see this as well in the ECL as well by Turin. There was a really good game between... Oh, who was that? I think it was Falcon up against someone, maybe. And someone did it to Falcon, and it worked really well. It was an expert game. Old Rome tactics can work, yeah. For the most part, Jorah, honestly, Total War community is actually really good. I got nothing against Legion as well. Like, Legion's a super nice guy. Spoken to him before and stuff. I understand being mad about it. But yeah, for the most part, Total War community is pretty great. There is, though, obviously, you know, as in every single gaming community, there are people who cause problems. Ark the Black, for example, is a well-known, I suppose, not hooligans, probably not the best word, but kind of been shunned a little bit from the community. He's kind of banned from all tournaments and that stuff. I've caught him several times, but luckily, because I banned him on Steam, if he pops in a lobby with me, his old picture appears, so I know it's him. Because he's tried to sneak into a tournament before, and we kicked him out and hunted him. That was Falcon versus Soothsayer, Norska versus Dark Elves. Maybe that was well Aristamos. I saw it was Skaven versus Greenskins with the players I watched, but maybe it wasn't Falcon who was involved. It was either an ECL or a faction war or something, way like a little while ago, maybe a month or so ago. But yeah, there's a few good examples of it as well. Yes, yeah, advancing your army angled can work really well. So here we are, Pillar of Bone. Some lovely little hills and trees dotted around. But for the most part, there's this big, open, flat, low ground down here where the violence can occur. And also we have this lovely little statuesque kind of rune circle, I suppose, with a little bonfire around it. So someone is doing some unholy worship in there of some dark god, no doubt. But who's your money on? And that's a pretty cool spire as well. I wonder who makes these things. I'm assuming this is greenskin territory due to all the big old features to Gork and Mork throughout. Who is Arkan? He's just a player who's kind of known to cheat quite a lot on stuff. There's that one guy who can't stop trolling. I wonder who that is. But no, for the most part, honestly, it's really solid. But yeah, Arkan's just a guy who kind of played for a while, but tends to break the rules against people who are new and stuff. He actually did it to me when I first got involved in the community, and first I played the game and didn't really know the rules correctly and all that kind of stuff. So it's a slightly more frontal version of flank overload, only works on slower, more rigid enemies. That sounds pretty cool. I feel like Warhammer's quite a fast-paced game, so that maybe would work better on the older Total War titles. Although I saw there was, I think, Free Kingdoms are getting a DLC or something. I don't play Free Kingdoms here, but I could check it out. I don't know. Anyway, let's hop in here and have a little look at the build. So once again, Man Leopard, is the man of the people for sure. Bringing a Chaos Giant here to a skirmish fight is a bold choice, and I absolutely love it. Look at this horrific looking fellow. We will dub him Barry, I suppose is a good pick for him. And I mean, if he gets engaged in combat, he can do decent work. We have Dragon Ogres as well. And it looks like a Chaos Spawn Rush. So we have Chaos Spawn, a bucket ton of Warhounds and Poison to try and force out the enemy skirmishers. Cheap and cheerful Marauders who are just drunk and ready for violence along the front line. Up in the skies, we have an Exalted Hero on his Manticore, Chaos Sorcerer with Fire with Burning Head, and Prince Sigvald the tanky down on the ground. Another heavy rock and roll build coming in from the Warriors of Chaos and Leopard. We also have a Hell Cannon in the back line. One problem, of course, is this army getting skirmished. The Giant, the Chaos Spawn, the Exalted Hero, all very susceptible to long-range bowfire. For the force of the Greenskins, of course, we have a ton of kiting potential. We have Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, as well as Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, and a load of the combat variety as well to help protect. Main battle line is a mixture of Goblins, who are not going to fare too well here, but also Black Orcs. I like this pick. Mixing in some more elite infantry with the weaker ones will allow them to crump those Marauders rather effectively. We do as well have double Stone Trolls, a Night Goblin Shaman coming in with his nasty Vindictive Glare, and Grom the Paunch, Lucky Banner, De Greyton is Ear, and Axe of Grom. Pretty good stuff. It is going to come down to, can these Warhounds hop on top of the Spider Rider Archers? Speed-wise, they were not going to be able to, and they're going to get poisoned whilst doing so. Because apart from that, the main battle line here is really good for Chaos. Hell Cannon just shoots Black Orcs, they get beat down. Marauders can clear up most of the rest of the chaff with the mixture of help from Chaos Spawn. And it's, yeah, literally these 3 units, though, could be a big, big problem. So Warhounds are going to be repositioning at this point, just coming over to mirror the forces of the Archers. They'll be taking some shots, but they're not going to be too fussed about that. And the first shot is arced through the air, aiming down on the Black Orcs and doing some pretty decent damage straight out of the gate. Only killing one of them, though. For some reason, it didn't do as much as I thought it would, but still doing some nice work early on. Stone Trolls could be a big problem. They're going to fight rather well up against the Chaos Spawn. The Giants are going to have to get in here and do some good work. Upgraded Spirit Leech has been popped on the Hell Cannon. Not a bad target. I wonder how many Spirit Leech is going to need, though, to take it down. It looks like, yeah, we've got the double caster once more coming in from the forces of the Greenskins. Night Goblin Shaman is injured at this point. Hell Cannon does miss its shot, and that is a problem. Despite the fact it does arc and kind of track a little bit, sometimes it does shoot a little bit high. It looks like the Archers are raining in fire, and the Vindictive Glare going after the Hell Cannon. A few of the shots do hit, and it looks like, for the most part, Leopard is going to have to abandon this piece, as it is going to get shot apart from long range. It looks like the guy's just saying good luck, have fun. Chaos Marauders are just tanking damage at this point. Warhounds getting ready to wrap around this flank. We have a ton of Warhounds in the back line as well. Hell Cannon now starting to make some pretty decent dents in the Black Orcs, but nothing too crazy. Warhounds do bait a little charge, and the Chaos Spawn decide to start flooding forward, but they're getting picked apart at this point by Archers, as well as the Goblin Wolf Riders. So these Chaos Spawn not having a good day whatsoever. The Giant is going to start lumbering forward, though. Just having a good time. Should be able to crump through a lot of these Black Orcs. The problem here, of course, is the pressure from all of these Archers. The Hounds need to get in the back, and it looks like they did try to swarm one unit of Spider Rider Archers. Isn't a bad idea, or normal Spider Riders, but they need to pull back at this point. They don't want to fight 3 on 3. That's not a fight which will fare well for them. The Stone Trolls, despite being full leadership, terrify off instantly, and these Black Orcs not having a good day at all. Chaos Giant as well as Hell Cannon obliterating them, and down on this flank, despite the fact Chaos Spawn took huge damage. Once again, the Warriors of Chaos are crumping. The Stone Trolls are going toe-to-toe with Dragon Ogres, not a fight that they want, and Grom is stuck in combat with an Exalted Hero and Prince Sigvald. Scary stuff, but this is a completely unharassed Archer line. Could be pretty telling here. The Exalted Hero is taking a lot of shots to the face. Chaos Marauders are starting to push through, though, to do some decent damage, and the Hell Cannon is trying to break up this back line. Looks like all 3 units were forced off. Where are the Hounds? Did the Hounds survive? If the Hounds are now reading through the back lines, it looks like not. It looks like all the Hounds got destroyed, which is terrible, because the Chaos Warhounds now would have had free range jumping into these troops if these were forced off earlier on by the Hell Cannon pressure. So Prince Sigvald, of course, is just going to tank for an absolute year. Dragon Ogres as well will do a decent job here, but the Black Orcs saturated with Stone Trolls is rather scary, and the Chaos Giant and Exalted Hero are jumping in, finishing off this left-hand side. Things are looking relatively good for the Greenskins, though, as the war is popped. Although one of their Shamans is having a bit of a wizard duel here, an unfair wizard duel as well. The Dragon Ogres just slap the Night Goblin Shaman to the ground, and he's down to about 1,000 health at this point. Prince Sigvald doing a good job, though, up to 9 kills. Stone Trolls have been forced off, and get rid of this other unit of Black Orcs, it could be in a pretty decent situation for the Chaos on the fight back. There's not much to kill the Chaos Giant, apart from the Archers, and the Archers starting to run relatively low on ammunition, although still plenty in the boot for now. And oh no! The Hell Cannon has been shut down. Goblin Wolf Rider Archers do manage to pop on top of this bad boy. If he can disengage, pull back, even the Dragon Ogres thump these guys, force them off, and allow the Hell Cannon to continue to rain fire in, because it's been doing really nice work so far. Grom has forced off the Exalted Hero, and if he can keep him on the ground, dogging that tail of his, he will get some really good value. But it looks like Exalted Hero will be able to fall back, go up into the skies, and come back into the fight once more, which could be pivotal in the late game. Chaos Giant is now bounding towards Stone Trolls. The bigger brother here of these smaller trolls is having a whale of a time, picking up 2 of those Stone Trolls like they're nothing and slaughtering them. Although, remember guys, Chaos Giants have 30 armor, which is nothing, and the Archers will be punching them. Although it looks like the Exalted Hero did jump down here. He might break, but he's going to do the damage while he can. Really nice pick all round there by the Chaos to focus fire them down. Prince of Gold is just untouched at this point, just slaughtering Black Orcs left, right, and centre. Up to 32 kills, and here's the master of the grind. Looks like those Dragon Ogres did get back and save the Hell Cannon, but a tiny bit too little too late. Only one brave dwarf remains, and he'll be charging in. Big fat burning head coming down the line, roasting some of those Black Orcs. The Goblins do dodge. Stone Trolls will take some damage from it as well, despite the fact they are single entities. But oh no, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is going to break, maybe, or the Trolls break first. It is incredibly close, but it looks like the Chaos Sorcerer Lord does manage to stabilise, and the Trolls will be running away. Giant River Troll Hag has been isolated by this Chaos Giant, as well as the Dragon Ogres, who have slaughtered her, put her in her place. And it looks like a mixture of Marauders as well as Chaos Spawn will be able to wrap up the rest of the Greenskin infantry. Incredibly close game. Balance power is very heavily in favour of the Greenskins for some reason. I suppose, I don't know, it seems relatively close to me. I suppose they've got a lot more infantry and skirmishers yet to come. Chaos Giant, though, having a whale of a time once again, beating on Grom. Lucky Banner has been popped, so he wants to switch targets here to the Stone Trolls, and he's taking a lot of bow fire, and that is the problem. The Archers running out of volleys, though, getting very low. These units have completely used up their ammunition, but balance power may be gone like too far by that point, by the time they already do run out. Only one unit left, and Grom is getting welled on. Lucky Banner is protecting him somewhat, but he's still taking huge damage, and a fat burning head coming down the line, catching all of these Greenskin forces, doing massive damage to the Black Orcs as well as Night Goblins. And Prince Sigvald is just standing there slaughtering troops. This is such a close game. Giant has been surrounded, and I do worry about his leadership here. The more bow fighters coming in. How many volleys do these guys have left? 2. Can you hold out, Barry? We believe in you. And he is pounding these troops left, right, and centre. A big fat tear out is what he needs, but will he get it? It looks like he himself is wavering instead. And oh, down he goes. And with him breaking, that is going to be game to void. That was an insane fight, very close stuff. If the Giant simply held out a little while longer, tanked these volleys, he might be able to actually mop up the majority of what is left of the Greenskin forces. But Barry's had enough pointy sticks prodded into him today. Yeah, Giants were close. It was the ammunition, man. It was the ammunition. And that caused the game. That was so close, man. That was so close. Is Grom meta? Grom is very good. Grom is very, very good. Giants will not have to win this. Yeah, I agree. Like, the Giant, he may have been able to win it, but the Archer pressure really did whittle him down. Sigvald did okay, but he's just there for the grind. 1k damage value. Hell Cannon as well did pretty decent, 1,000. It was really unfortunate. If those Wolf Riders hadn't shut him down and he got back and protected a little bit quicker, then the game all of a sudden flips on its head. But really good play by Void there to shut it down. And the Giant did good work, man. I mean, people kind of take the mick out of them, but 1,600 damage value is certainly no joke. 7,500 damage dealt as well is impressive, and the Rat Ogres did good as well. I think losing the Chaos Warhounds, he lost 3 units straight away, was absolutely huge. Imagine those units in the end game just running around after these Archers, it would have flipped it on its head again. Got on the Paunch though, did very good, 1,600 damage value, 9k damage dealt. River Troll Hag and the other Goblin did fare a little bit worse, as did the Black Orcs. Look at this, 290 damage value on a unit of Black Orcs. That's a really bad loss, but the other unit making it up for the lads there, 1.6k damage value, 7,800 damage dealt. To 8 Pigloons as well, up to 147 kills, 12,000 damage dealt, 1k damage value. And apart from that, it looks like pretty solid stuff across the board by the Stone Trolls and, of course, by the Skirmishers. GG. So the next map will be Gorgazan. That was very close stuff there. So Gorgazan it is. And let's change the scores. So Void does go up 1. And there we are. It was honestly closer than I thought it was. When I saw the builds, I was like, oh, it's going to be worrying, because Greenskin Skirmish, as Stormrunner has put in chat, is very powerful. It's pretty scary stuff, but Chaos managed to almost bring it back. Don't underestimate Leopard Man. He is a really talented player. Yeah, they wanted to kind of stack on top of each other, I suppose, and fight back to back a little bit. Chaos Giants do have great leadership, yeah, Blackfin, I agree. I wish they were unbreakable, but surrounded at the end there and so many shots, it was just a little bit too much. Yeah, I actually quite like the Giant pick there. I agree. Coming in, Chaos Spawn, though, you know there's going to be so much skirmish from the Greenskin forces. Maybe he was expecting a more of a Monster Mash. But the Chaos Spawn do just kind of get pulled apart there from the long range of the Greenskins. And Greenskins' Dakka line is very powerful. It is very scary. I also criticise football players when they miss shots. Man, as a football fan here in Britain, it is a nightmare supporting the team. Everyone, yeah, it's just is what it is. I don't understand a lot of people's logics when they talk about players and stuff. Greetings from Australia. I finally got to catch a stream right before work. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing very good, man. Cozy Devike, glad to have you here. Hope you are enjoying. Hopefully we'll have you for many more streams as well. We're here in the finals, and it is currently 1-0 to Void. So best of 5 finals. Both these guys played some pretty good games so far. And it's going to be exciting to see if Leopard can drag it back. So he has gone Empire, banning Dowie and Skaven. It looks like Void is going to be going Vampire. Counts. Two factions I don't play a huge amount. I could see Volkmar being an absolute world beater here. We did see a match earlier on where it was going pretty good for the force of the Empire, but then they lost Volkmar. He was on his horse, but I think Volkmar on his chariot is a really good pick here. Of course, the enemy can then come in with dragons, Terrorgeist, and those type of units to drag him down, but I think he does fire damage off the top of my head. Maybe that's completely wrong. Maybe it's only magic damage, but he looks like he should do fire damage. He's certainly got a fiery ego. Hey, we have some of the Italian gang through, hopefully representing the mighty Leopard. He's obviously of clan CLL, and he's done very well in 2 or 3 now of the Death Before Dishonours. Got to the finals before, I think, last season. I don't know if he played in the last game, but he's had a really strong run. I'll have to wait for these guys to put their builds. So I was going through messages I replied to them all after dinner probably. Volk on horse round 2, I'd kind of love it. It's the kind of thing Leopard may do as well, because it's really badass, but I don't think he's the best on horseback. I mean, it's much easier to snipe, and Vampire can, despite being a relatively slow faction in their main battle line, have really good fast sniping potential with some of their Flying Lords. And you almost always see Flying Lords from the Vampire counts. They're just pretty scary. Pretty scary stuff indeed. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to hit that big old thumbs up button. It really helps out, push it to more people. We can slowly drag them into the Total War community. And if you like Total War Warhammer content, feel free to subscribe as well. We'll get all that juicy stuff. Oh, let's have a little stretch. Try and stay alert as possible. So we have at least 2 more games, and that's if Voyage does go all the way through. And of course, he will meet an Ice Power in the finals, although there's another 2 qualifiers yet, and you guys yourselves can indeed attempt to qualify through them. So you simply have to join my Discord, and I'll announce on there when the qualifying stages are. It'll be next week or the week after, I'm not sure yet. I'm not too sure. It'll all depend on what my schedule's like. I tend to give people as much notice as I can. Normally it's like a week notice or so. Are you guys excited for Darktide as well? I've been tempted to cast some of it on the channel before. So I believe it is Warhammer 40k's version of Viletide, which you'll load of Imperial Guardsmen, I think, for the most part, Ogrins and such, and you're up against just unholy hordes of plague monks, Nurgle, all that kind of stuff, which I thought might be kind of fun little different thing to do. Valheim as well was something I was looking at maybe putting up onto the channel, because at the moment we are predominantly Total War based, which is going to stay, of course, don't worry, have no fear, but I might mix in 1 or 2 games as well, just to liven up some of the live streams and keep it bouncing. Let's have another little sip. Ugh. I do wonder what the builds shall be here. I just feel like it's going to be either a Blood Knight force from the Vampire Council, which is very powerful. Triple Blood Knights is always good in this matchup, but then you get triple Demigryphs, and then you're both healing each other, and it kind of really can come down to those cavalry engagements that way. It looks like Void is ready, so we're just waiting on Leopard. So if they both go for the gambit of the horses, basically you can forget about the main battle line, as that means nothing, and it's all about who wins the cavalry engagement. We'll have to wait and see. They might try and blob against each other. So Vermintide is the fantasy version. Darktide is the 40k version, which is coming out, so there's a trailer and stuff. I will certainly win if you let me get my Sisters of Avalon stack. So just 20 or 19 Sisters of Avalon techless with a net. You can give it a go. I don't know how many you can have in an army. I think it's 3 max, I'm afraid. But you can have 3. 3 in a net. It's fine. It's legal. Good luck, have fun, lads. Are Skaven in 40k? I don't think so. I don't think there's any Skaven in 40k. I'm not sure if the universes are linked. I think at some point they made like a little hidden link at some point where like the old ones were talking to the Eldar briefly or something like that. And of course you've got greenskins in both, but they're very different in how they operate, and I think they've got different backstories and stuff. So I don't think there's any Skaven, but there's definitely actually there may be some form of Skaven. There's some form of like a human cult, which is part mutant. So maybe they're also parts like rats, maybe. So maybe you'll have some like that. But I don't think, for the most part, as a faction goes, Skaven aren't in 40k. I'd be very excited if they did a Total War 40k. It'd be really hard to pull off, but I trust the CIA at this point. They've done such a good job with fantasy. Poor Bill. Getting his head mounted on a stony rock there. But pretty cool map all around. Oh, are we on the... No, we did change maps. Right, good. I'm good. Good. Let's make sure we weren't on Pillar of Bone again. It's quite a relatively open map. It's got a few hilly bits dotted around as well. Again, another greenskin-esque map in the waste there. We can see all those greenskin icons dotted all around the place. Let's have a little zoom in here. I do wonder what goes through the minds of the greenskins. Probably not a lot. Probably a lot of Warren. But this does look pretty beautiful. And they've at least got passion, which is one thing you can never really degrade about the greenskins. They're always down for a good scrap. They love what they do, and they do it rather well. So apart from this as well, we will have Alpine Ridge, which is a very thematic map. Then we have the Orgum Shard and Blue Reach River. Valtide is a good spell for sure, man. I don't use wizards in my armies too much micro. Man, you got to bring a wizard. Trust me. They'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. Right, for the forces of the Empire, the Hellstorm rocket battery in the back here, which is going to be very good at clearing out chaff. Artillery in general up against Vampire Council to get shut down pretty early, so I like that only being one pick because it's not too much to protect. In the main battle line, of course, we have the most zealous of all of Sigma's sons, the Sigma sons. Unbreakable Swordsman will hold the line for an absolute age. My god, Leopard keeps coming in with the rock and roll troops. We have great swords. When was the last time you saw great swords in a tournament? I have no idea. When I did, it certainly catches people off guard. These guys can do some pretty decent armor-piercing anti-infantry damage, and we have 2 units of them. We also have spearmen helping protect the flanks, and then we have the rock and roll cavalry as is expected. We have outriders with grenade launchers, 2 in fact. Then we have triple demigriffs with halberds to try and apply the pressure to the enemy cavalry. Jade Wizard and Volkmar the Grim, and it is Volkmar the Grim on horseback 2.0. I hope you guys are happy. And yeah, he's coming in with all the traditional buffs and stuff to keep these guys alive and well. So the big thing here is going to be Fellbats. And we have 2. The Fellbats are going to want to shut down these Outriders as quickly as possible, but I suppose if they're shutting down them, they're not shutting down the Hellstorm. So I'm actually a big fan of this Empire build. It's really fun, but at the same time pretty deadly. For the forces of Void up in the skies, we have the Fellbats. We have Blood Knights. In fact, we have... Oh no, not triple Blood Knights. 1 Blood Knight. Double Black Knight, though. Going to be putting some good pressure on the enemies. Any more Blood Knights around I missed? No. In the main battle line, we have zombies dotted all the way along. Cane Wraiths on the flanks, who really do not want to mess with Volkmar and his nasty spells he can bring down. Skeleton Spearmen dotted through the front line. And we have a Corpse Cart, a Vargolf, as well as Vlad von Karstein. Vlad the Dad is here, roaring, cheering, having a whale of a time. He's coming in with the Master of Beguilement. He has Raised Dead, Van's Dance Macabre, Invocation of the Heck, and we have a White King on foot. Pretty scary build for sure. His front line's just going to be gone. Hellstorm Rocket Battery will chew through Skeleton Walls. I quite like the Hellstorm Rocket Battery to deal with Graveguard, where it's not going to get the most value here, but still, it's going to do some good work. Black Knights are going to be outclassed, so it could come down to the Cane Wraith saturated on the right time up against some of the infantry. The Outriders with Grenade Launch as well are just going to... The front line's just gone. The front line's not going to have a good time whatsoever. The Hellstorm Rocket Battery is switching on to the Cane Wraiths. Is this... No, it doesn't do magic damage. Okay. Just making sure that my mind didn't deceive me. Although these guys don't have weakness to fire. No, it's just the physical resistance. Okay, nothing afoot there. And the Empire, I'm simply going to chill and say, yeah, come to me. And that's absolutely fine. Hellstorm now doing some pretty good work. Again, though, only really focusing down the zombies, which isn't going to be particularly great value. I mean, even dropping it on Black Knights isn't the worst. It doesn't have the best... Actually, it's got pretty decent armor piercing, so it can be dropped on them. But I like this nice little defensive approach. Of course, the Outriders aren't even bothering to venture forward. They're like, no, we're going to chill, we're going to vibe, and when you come at us, that's when we're going to obliterate you. I wouldn't mind them pushing forward a little bit, just like up to here, so I get some nice early volleys on top of these Skeleton Spearmen. But it's really, as it often does in the Vampire Count's form, going to come down to the single entities and these single units. So it looks like we actually have double White King here. Hellstorm is now raining in once again after zombies. Which, I don't know if the Titans in here. I think he definitely wants to be going after the Skeleton Warriors, but maybe just wants to get the chaff off the field as quickly as possible, which isn't the worst idea in the world. Demogryphs are starting to range forward a little bit, just so they're a little bit quicker on their reactions when need be. Outriders are currently vibing. A Scabascape does go down on the Sigma Suns, doing some okay damage. It needs to be cast a little bit further away to get that big boon on them. They're simply going to get healed up by Nerf Blood, and they've lost no models, so not too bad for them. Scabascape doesn't really seem to kill models, it just does HP damage. And, yeah, he might drop some, though, on the Great Swords, which should certainly be some good pick. So, the Undead very slowly moving forwards with some zombies. Just creeping at this point, but taking big damage now on his Skeleton Warriors, who are getting destroyed before they can even meet the battle. Hellstorm Rocket Barrier as well, so that's okay ammunition left. It's still got over half, so if he sits back like this and just allows it to continue to rain fire in, he's going to be in big trouble. And the Hellstorm is raining down on Skeleton Warriors still. It's not the most accurate of beasts, and it looks like an Invocation Heck is going to be going down on these guys. Outriders do pound into the Vlad the Dad, but he won't take too much damage from them. They actually do a surprising amount of damage to single targets, despite the fact they're not meant for it, if you focus fire like this. So on top of the Vargolf wouldn't be the worst idea. And it looks like the Skeleton Warriors are going to be falling back, taking the slow approach, which is the Vampire Count's weight. Outriders with grenade launchers are going to be falling back at this point. More Outriders as well, launching shots into the Vargolf, doing some okay damage to him. Nothing too insane. And the Demogryphs are just standing on the wings. Now, the Cane Wraiths are going to be a big problem, I think, for him to deal with. Now, he's got Volkmar, of course, who can come in with that magic damage, and he needs to crump one of the units, but the other one will be able to get into the back lines and start causing absolute havoc here, which is a bit of a problem. Vlad is just tanking shots from the Outriders at the moment, who really need to switch their targeting priority to Skeleton Warriors. Jade Wizard is going to have to run as well. And up on the left-hand side, it looks like the Black Knights did get caught by some of the Demogryphs, but now the Cane Wraiths are here, and the Cane Wraiths are going to have a good time up against them for the most part. Over on the left-hand side, though, the Demogryphs have been a little bit more reserved and kind of holding back a little bit. Grenade launchers are roasting the zombies. And I'm sure they're going to get good kills, but I'm a bit worried about their value. I'm definitely seeing a summon come down yet. So if a Skeleton Warrior summon on the Hellstorm Rocket Battery crew, they need to fall back, allow the Outriders and Demigryphs to mess up these troops. But you want to get these guys off and try to survive for as long as possible. Demigryphs coming in with Grand Shield of Faith and Grand Hammer of Sigmar, charging into the White King and this front line. We know Leopard loves a good old frontal charge, and he does it rather well. Cane Wraiths are going to be pulling out, though, to try and engage with these troops if they do over-engage, and Black Knights have now found the Jade Wizard. Good patient play so far by Void to hunt down such troops, and the Jade Wizard has been knocked on his butt, but Demigryphs are quick to respond. Leopard never behind really on micro whatsoever. Outriders are now pushing through into the centre. Hellstorm Rocket Battery still firing into the zombies. Point blank range shots there. Demigryph Knights are unfortunately fighting zombies, not a fight they want to be having, as the Cane Wraiths will slowly drag them down. And we also have Fellbats up in the skies. Missed micro a little bit here by Void. He's got some of his Black Knights stuck in against Spearmen, and they don't have the best anti-armour, so it's not going to be the worst situation, but it's certainly not great for them. Great Swords as well, not having too good of a time. Outriders have been stuck a little bit back here, and Vlad is once again casting more and more zombie summons. Beautiful play by Leopard, as we spoke about earlier, pulling the Hellstorm Rocket Battery off of its artillery piece for now, and one of the units of Fellbats is pretty much done for at this point. Which is good news. Now the skirmish forces of the Empire can come back, but once again, Volkmar, we saw this in the previous game, could get surrounded by Blood Knights, but Void doesn't take it for some reason. He instead is floating over. He's more interested in hunting down this Jade Wizard, and it looks like Demigryphs were nearby for support, so probably a good idea. But they're bounding across the battlefield. They are chasing these Blood Knights down in hot pursuit, and it looks like a messed up charge by both of them. Neither of them really getting a good charge here. Cane Wraiths are in the mix, and that is a big problem. Another overcast by Vlad is going to be probably summoning more troops or getting invocation the heck off, and the Demigryphs are faring really badly on the right-hand side due to these Cane Wraiths. The Cane Wraiths as well are getting buffed by Dance Macabre, and it's got to be said, the Cane Wraith pick was pretty inspirational and a good choice all round. Volkmar can't be everywhere at once, which is a big problem for him, and there's not enough magic damage on the table. Outriders are being dealt with on this side, and I think it's looking like a 2-0 to Void so far. Great Swords with their great swords are cleaving apart the zombies rather well, but again, it's not an engagement they really want to be in. A lone Demigryph does dart across the battlefield, trying to catch up with its brethren, and he's got a nice surround on the Vargulf at this point. Cane Wraiths as well are being pulled tight to Volkmar. But now Vlad is engaging Volkmar in glorious hand-to-hand combat, a fight even the righteous Volkmar doesn't really want to take personally. I don't think... oh, he doesn't have his banishment on foot, does he? That's a real shame. That's a big problem of taking him on foot like that. Skepscape unfortunately misses here for Void, missing the Spearman. But of course, you're trying to make a load of micro decisions in one go, so obviously understandable, and he's done really good so far with his micro anyway. Sigma Suns clearing up these Skeleton Warriors on this flank, and Great Swords as well are slowly going down to the Cane Wraiths. Volkmar is dancing around, trying to save his troops. It looks like a Invocation Heck is going down on the Blood Knights, and it's looking rather bleak now. Balance Power has lost faith, and Volkmar soon will be turning to the dark side, no doubt, throwing down his Sigma idols and deciding to become a vampire worshipping maniac. He's fighting to death though. Grand Hammer of Sigma has been popped, as well as the Shield of Faith. March of Beguilement has come down on him. Minus 40 melee attack means he's not going to be doing too much. He's trying to rally himself to the forces of the Great Swords, but there's so much undead forces left on the field. Outriders with grenade launchers up to only 21 kills. Unfortunately, weren't really able to get the best positioning due to the good approach from Void, in fairness. And Outriders unleashing shots into the Skeleton Spearmen, and Volkmar does lose heart, and that is going to be 2-0 to Void. Grenade launchers might be my favourite unit in Warhammer, man. They're so good. They're so cool. They are very cool, and they are disgustingly deadly, but he just couldn't get them into the right position, which is, again, due to the good approach from Void. So Volkmar, fortunately, didn't do too great. Sigma Suns, as well, didn't amazing, and the Demigryphs struggled as well. And the Great Swords, yeah, huge damage on them. Big kills on the Hellstorm and the grenade launchers, but not good value. They were kind of killing zombies most of the game, and that allowed Vlad, the White Kings, to come in and slowly mop up the troops. But the real MVPs were these two Cane Wraiths. 1,600 damage value on this one is insane. The other one, still, 648, but they're both pretty much full health, which is absolutely wild. Blood Knights performed relatively well. Actually, very well. 1,600 damage value, 5.5k damage dealt, and the Vargulf did a good job as well. GG. Alpine Ridge is up next. I like Shred of Lustria because big dinosaur. I agree, man. Thunder Lizards. We need to message CA, demand Thunder Lizards. It's the way to go. So let's update the scoreboard here quickly. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. I was about to give the points to Leopard. There we go. Of course, it is a best of 5 still, so still plenty of time. And the first game in particular was very close. That game was a little bit more rough for Leopard. So Alpine Ridge is up next. Back to the standard pick and ban system. They are lethal, quick, but vulnerable, and bad against single entities, and not good against armor. Well, surprisingly, Outriders, if you roll them like a triple, they actually do pretty big damage to single entities, if the single entities are armor, like a giant or something, just to the sheer weight of damage. But yeah, you definitely want to use them just to clear up chaff, or clear up infantry as a whole. Looks like Void is going to be going to Wood Elves, everyone's favourite matchup, or a favourite battle so far of the stream, no doubt, so probably going to be Air. Air Force. It depends what he picks and bans, obviously, and what Leopard does go. If Leopard goes Vampire Counts here, that would be the biggest balls move I've ever seen in my life. That would be insane. Let's have a little sip of my drink. How are we doing stream time-wise? I think we're going for about 3 hours so far, maybe? Not 2 hours. I think we'll be making pretty good work, despite the fact all the semi-finals went all the way. Hopefully this final does as well. It's been an exciting time so far. Void is going to Wood Elves, abandoning Greenskins and Bretonia. 2 good bans. The Bretonia matchup is far better now than it once was, but it's still pretty trash. And banning Greenskins is always good, because Greenskins are very powerful. We could definitely maybe see Skaven here, coming in from Leopard. I could see a cheeky Skaven pick. So he's only uses Empire so far. Skaven gonna... Oh, Dwarfs, actually! He didn't ban Dwarfs, he banned Greenskins. Leopard going Lizardmen, the madman! I love it. Oh man, Leopard has won the heart. Even if he gets knocked out here, he has won the hearts of the people for sure. Bringing crazy builds, and now he's going Dinos. I'm very surprised he didn't pick Dwarfs. Maybe he's not an experienced Dwarf player, but Dwarfs are very powerful in this matchup. The Wood Elves have a massive problem with them. Now the best way I think to do it with the Wood Elves is actually either 12 range units, I'm not even joking, like Waywatchers, Glade Guard, Starfire, Shaft, basically no infantry, and just kite game, or you go a mixture of Great Stag Knights are very good in this matchup, Wildwood Rangers, and you kind of try to do the, break the dwarf formation and hammer them home, but it's still pretty rough. Grombrindle is just so good there. Yeah, you got to support Horse Volkmar, man. Horse Volkmar is a little bit squishy. Then I'm so used to him on his Mighty Chariot, or his big altar, or whatever you want to call it. So it's always weird to see him on a horse and how quickly he goes down, because normally he's so pesky. Yes, Lizardman. Oh man, I'm so excited. And don't worry guys, when I do the stream for the my Warhammer World Championship games, you're going to be seeing a lot of Lizardmen. Because I play them in pretty much every single... Because you play 2 games, and you pick and ban and stuff, so... The way it was done, I was basically always having to pick and ban first, so I would always just pick map Alpine Ridge, because we could select maps as well, and then just go Lizardmen and ban Skaven Vampires and be come at me. Mr. Void is ready, just waiting on the ferocious Leopard to come to the fray. I like how in Warhammer a dude with a sword can destroy a tank. I don't think you understand, my guy. You need in World War 1 they had swords, but they didn't work against tanks. Man, I have a book for you, dude. There is the Ragnar Blackmane series. There's 2 omnibuses, Omnibus 1 and Omnibus 2. All very good. The William King was the writer. He's actually he's a very good writer, actually, especially on the old Warhammer stuff. Looks like the lads are ready. And Ragnar Blackmane, who is a Wolf Lord in the current state of affairs in Warhammer 40k, or at least as far as I know, whenever I left it off back in the day. But this is a story about his upbringing and how he became the youngest ever Wolf Lord, and you can see his inspirations from his previous Wolf Lord, so the one he looked up to, who was called Beric Thunderfist. And he had a power fist, and he literally punches a tank to death at one point. It's amazing. The tank goes to run him over, he shoots through the gap to blind the driver, and then he just uppercuts the tank, and it flips on itself. It was beautiful. Beric was my favourite character. He was only a side character, but he was so cool. Quack power for all, yes. That's only because I don't try. I mean, did anyone in World War 1 try hitting tank with a sword? I don't think so. Which 3 factions would you recommend to learn for tourneys? Thinking Empire, Tomb Kings, and Greenskins. That is some very good choice. Honestly, play whatever you're most comfortable with. If you only have 1 or 2 factions, pick something that's good against the counters of those factions. So, for example, my main faction is Lizardmen. What else do I use, actually? I mean, I'm a little bit versatile because I do all the casts and I've got general knowledge on a lot of the factions. Not really the undead, because smelly undead. But apart from that, or if in doubt and you really want to go try hard, learn Greenskins and Skaven because they're the best two factions in the game. So once you learn them, you can start to dominate. Yeah, Greenskins are hot, man. The OG Ghost knows what's up. For sure. Greenskins are good, Skaven very good. Skaven a little harder if you're a newer player. And so, I mean, Greenskins, they're both good and bad for new players. Like, they're very good in general meta. Got some good powerful lords and a lot of fun options as well, which is, I think, is really important for new players. But to play them super well at the top level, you have to have incredible micro. They've got a lot of items and abilities that need to be popped at the right times. But I'd say Greenskins are very good. Skaven, likewise, very powerful but very squishy. So you need to learn how to onion build. I did do a video a while ago, I think, on it. Counts, yes, counts are surprisingly popular in tournaments, not so much on quick battles and stuff, though. Lizardmen as well are pretty popular. They're a very good mid-tier faction, like slightly above mid-tier maybe, but they don't have too many weaknesses. Ban Vampire counts, ban Skaven, and you've got pretty decent matchups against most troops. Anyway, the legendary God of War Leopard coming roaring into this last game, trying to go down with a scrap, has brought Lord Mazdamundi. Coming in with a humble Net of Amantalk, as well as Apotheosis and Shield of the Old Ones. It also has Sunburst Standard, no Banishment or Ruination. Very weird. Very, very weird. I mean, I suppose up against this build, perhaps not. The main battle line, we have Skink Cohorts. Are these... Guys, we have gold and double gold chevron Skink Cohorts for a front line. What is this madness? Leopard comes out again with the surprising build. Saurus Spears with shields. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a bucket ton of Skinks and Chameleon Skinks slotted throughout. Cavalry-wise, we do have some Cold One Riders as well as some Cold One Spear Riders. Double Gary. Now this is the meta pick here, is you get 2 Basilions with solar engines. They counter Skirmish Glade Guard rather effectively. And that's it for the build. This is a weird build, and I'm all about it. Gold Chevron Sync Cohorts. It's insane. Anyway, for the Force of the Void, looks like he's going against the meta slightly. He's brought Drytra as his lord. I actually quite like this as a pick. The Mad Hag herself, coming in, of course, with the Roused to Wrath, so you can summon Dryads. The Pendulum as well is really good at clearing through Saurus, but not so good up against, well, it's sort of damage Skinks, but cost-effective-wise. Looks like she's going to be sitting on top of the hill, and he's going to try and rain fire over top with the Glade Guard where possible. Ton of guard dotted through the front line. We have double Wildwood Rangers as well in the central pocket. Not going to be too useful here, as they got very low armor and very squishy all round. But there's some targets for them to hop on, like the big dinosaurs. Spell Song of Life to keep them nice and top. Hidden in the trees, we have Glade Riders with Wildwood Riders. We have Wild Riders. Jesus, I was like Wildwood Riders. That's wrong. We also have Glade Guard Starfire Shafts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of which is a Hagbane tip as well. And over on the left side, we have more Glade Riders and more Wild Riders. Honestly, 2 pretty fun builds from both the guys. This is a lot more meta, although the Wildwood Range is probably not so much. So getting a little bit crazy. But this side is very insane indeed. Drytra is going to have a very uncomfortable beginning if she can be seen. It looks like she may just be covered. Those solar engines are on fire at will. They might just pop her in the dome straight away. And she's a tree, so she's not going to enjoy that too much whatsoever. Looks like they're both ready, I think. So they are good to start. Refuse to learn Skaven. I have Menace below PTSD. I don't blame you, bud. I don't blame you, bud. I can only play Lizmen because of the guide. Thank you, by the way. No worries, man. It was a good trial, like I sunk a hand done before making a guide. It seems really popular, so I'm going to be making a guide soon. I'm probably going to be making a Wood Elf guide. I want some people to send me some builds, like some competitive builds from like Ronin and Dactra and stuff, so I'm just going to be waiting on them. And when they get back to me, I'll make the guide. I don't know if they're waiting on me, so I'll just say good luck, have fun. Let's get it started. So one of them has read up. Looks like Mr. Leopard is ready as well. Coming in furious as always. Good to see him in action. So, I'm very interested to see how these Skinks do perform. Well, it looks like he is repositioned slightly. These Skinks, what's their stats like? 60 leadership, 25 melee attack, 30 melee defense on 120 models. Isn't terrible, honestly. It's not terrible whatsoever. I really wish he'd brought the banishment and stuff, because you can net Wild Riders and banish them, and it does so much damage. but also Ruination and Banishment on Glade Guard is very powerful. We're going to be falling back with Georgia, just had a little cheeky little peek over the top of the hill to see what was up and what the enemy were, and then he's going to be trying to take the high ground as quickly as possible. For the most part, elves are more fleet of foot than their Lizman brethren, but it looks like only for the mighty leopard here is he going to advance with his chameleon skinks. Shots coming on Georgia. This is a very risky play all round by Void. I mean, he has the healing, I suppose, of the Earthblood. He seems to love double caster. He's got a real fin for it. George taking a few shots, going to be kiting a little bit or dodging back and forth, going for that little serpentine action. Chameleon Skinks here do need to be careful. They obviously want to get around the back here to really put pressure on the Glade Guard, but Wild Riders as well as Glade Riders will do horrific damage to them, and the cav for the Wood Elves is very important. They need it to beat down this front line, as they'll do a pretty good job of doing such stuff. Gary is lining up another shot, and this time he has aimed at the tightly packed formation of the Eternal Guard. A lot of the Glade Guard are trying to hide behind the hill. If I'm the Lizman at this point, simply pull back the majority of your forces, force them to come on top of the hill, and then the Bastillons can get to work from there. Over on this side, I don't know if he spotted the Wild Riders. If he didn't, that's going to be a big problem, as they could lap in onto the Chameleons. But some Sword Spears are going out that side, so perhaps he does indeed know what's going on. Well, we've seen a Pendulum come down on the Skink cohorts, but beautiful micro by Leopard manages to dodge the worst of it. And on the left-hand side, though, oh, this is so bad. Chameleon Skinks getting slaughtered by some of the Glade Riders here. The second unit could fire in and do some pretty good damage and try and save as many as he can, but that's a little bit of a rough start there for the Lizmen forces. And now those Starfire shafts are focusing down the Bastillons. At this point, it really sucks because you want to be staying fire and you need to pull back. You have the range advantage, so pull back where possible and shoot a little bit later on to kind of save them for the end game here. In the distance, it looks like Chameleon Skinks are being mopped up by Wild Riders and Glade Guard. Sword Spears need to get active, but there is so much micro Leopard is having to do at this moment, trying to save his lords. And it looks like we are going to be getting a big fat net come down, allowing the Cold One Spear Riders to catch these Dryads on the charge and try to save this Bastillon Solar Engine here. It's wavering, but he should just about be able to escape. Both are rather low. Cold One Spear Riders do push away the Wild Riders, but they have been able to escape. And in the distance, somehow these Chameleon Skinks are still alive, kiting a unit of Glade Riders, which is pretty hilarious stuff. Big fat Pendulum comes down the line, but once again it is dodged by Leopard. Even really on top of that. Oh, some of the Skinks took a bit of damage, and they are going to get chewed through now by Wildwood Rangers. You can upgrade Skinks as much as you want. They're still going to be Skinks at the end of the day. Cold One Spear Riders trying to get back and support where possible. Gary has rallied, leashing some hell on the Wild Riders. The Finns are already starting to look pretty good for the forces of the Wood Elves here. Although this is a bit of a disaster for him. Cold One Spear Riders were about to get into the back line. Lovely comeback though with the Wild Riders. And this is just a bad engagement all round for the Lizardmen. Wild Riders on the charge hit incredibly hard, but if you're getting shot in the back by 2 units, it is a disaster. And now you have an opposite of what you actually want, right? You want the Riders in the back line and the Spears up against the Wild Riders, but it's simply not possible due to the good micro there of Void. Void has run over some Chameleon Skinks as well, doing some good work in the back. And Lord Mazamudi now is taking quite a lot of damage. He's having to float away a little bit. He's getting poisoned, and that is going to be game. I think it was over, unfortunately. Hey, Lizardmen on low micro with the best micro. You have to be the best player to play Lizardmen, but no, in reality, well, I agree and I disagree. I'd say, yeah, they're relatively low micro, but Dowie, you cannot be stagnant. I tell new players this so often. You have to be proactive in your defense. Alright, good game. Again, it was kind of a battle of the armies. I did like Leopard's build. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I love the try here of the Golden Skinks. And also found over Lord Mazamudi coming in like relatively naked. But once the Chameleon Skinks were done and the Cold One Riders were done, it was a little bit game over. Just very well played. Good approach play again by Void in this match. He's done that all game up against Leopard so far in all their games. Simply in the Empire game as well. And it was a really dominant display there. But Leopard played an absolutely fantastic tournament all throughout. GG well played. Great games, Mr. Leopard. Hopefully see you next time. And well done, Void. You are the winner. Oh, looks like he left. Well, I'll let him know that he has qualified for the finals. Hope you guys enjoyed, though. If you did, feel free to give it a little thumbs up and subscribe on your way out to the door. Before you do go as well, stay around for a few more seconds. I will be popping up the scores for one, but then I'll send you guys off to raid another stream, no doubt. So there's going to be a 3-0 there to Void. Real dominant display in the finals. Leopard, though, played in a fantastic semi-finals, and I must say, I think Leopard may be one of my new favourite players, coming in with some of the craziest and wackiest builds I have seen in a long, long time. So let's have a little look here and see if anyone else is streaming at the moment that we can pop you over to. Oh no, there's no one streaming. Where art thou all the streamers? Doesn't look like Turin is streaming. Well, if any of you speak German, Exploding Hamster is streaming. My YouTube might just be messing up actually here. So maybe people are streaming, I don't know. But I'll have a little look here. Yeah, I mean, he went pretty hard, but I mean, it is a tournament, you know, so he gets the minus points on the memes for sure. Competitive picks, though, it is what you see. It's always good stuff. So for some reason, YouTube is bugging for me. Let's try refreshing. Let's type in Total War Warhammer Livestream. So Legend of Total War stream, but that's more campaign, so I don't know if that'd be up your guys' street. So I think, yeah, there's no one streaming, I'm afraid, guys. Sorry. So I'm going to have to leave it there, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support. It's been a rather awesome stream. And, of course, we will be back within a week or two with the next stream. And we'll probably be streaming tomorrow as well. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.